All right. All right. Hello, guys. Tap the screen, share the live. I'm going to keep resetting the daily gift goal to these little 1 cent gift goals. If we can knock these out a couple of times, it'll help push us out to the FYP. Again, this is Late Nights with Santana. It's a panel discussion. And this week we are diving into debate culture. It's night 3 of the conversation around debate culture. So if you have not gotten an opportunity to actually join the conversation, get in the box. You do not have to be a quote unquote op. Any and everyone can join. With that being said, let's go ahead and hit that intro.
Yeah, this ain't your regular panel. Nah, we speak the truth. Late nights with Santana and Mama Jones watching. Better keep it clean. Let's go. Late nights, truth in the convo. Everybody get a seat at the table. From the block to the books, we mindful. No screaming, just dreams in the Bible. One mic, one voice, we build bridges from the heart of the hood to the world's big issues. Politics, pay, different cultures, but the real ones listen before they rebuttal. Late nights with Santana. Hey. Mama Jones watching, so keep it grown. Ain't about flexing, this the purpose zone. Santana hold it steady when it might get hot, but we ain't here to fight. We here to get the dots, yeah. Late nights with Santana. You already know. Late nights with Santana. Late nights, no static. No highlight reel, this the soul's reflection. No shade throwing, just connection. From streetwise truths to deep reflections, we turn hard talks into blessings. They say they run a game, we build new rules. We here to heal, uplift, and break the old rules. They kept us boxed in, divided by fear, but you find us lined up when the truth appears. Yeah, weekly topics, hearts wide open. No judgment, just motion. Real ones are talking, no cussing. Cause Mama Jones still watching, no frontin'. Yeah, late nights with Santana. You already know. Late nights with Santana. Late nights, no static. Yeah, Mama Jones watching, so keep it grown. Ain't about flexing, this the purpose zone. Santana hold it steady when it might get hot, but we ain't here to fight, we here to connect the dots. Mama Jones watching, so keep it grown. Ain't about flexing, this the purpose zone. Santana hold it steady when it might get hot, but we ain't here to fight, we here to connect the dots. Weekly topics, hearts wide open. No judgment, just motion. Real ones are talking, no cussing. Cause Mama Jones still watching, no frontin'. Yeah, late nights with Santana. You already know. Late nights with Santana. Late nights with Santana. You already know. Late nights with Santana. Late nights. Late nights with Santana. You already know. Late nights with Santana. Late nights.
Hey, welcome in, guys. Welcome in. This is Late Nights with Santana. This is night 3 of our panel discussion, and we are continuing to get into the topic of the week, which is debate culture. Debate culture. Guys, what does that mean? Well, we've been digging into understanding debate culture because I do think that there is a lot there when it comes to debate culture. I think there's a lot for us to continue to break down. And so we have dealt with multiple topics this week, including why debate, which is the reason behind why people actually should and do engage in debate, and what's the actual end game of debating. Next is knowledge is key, breaking down why is it important to not only understand the topic that you're looking to debate, but be willing to bring facts and information and actually engage in facts and information. We'll also talk about what's off limits, because there are certain things that should be off limits. I know certain people don't necessarily feel that way, but I do. And we've talked about it, but there should be. And last but not least, proving your point. Proving your point means proving your point is actually what I want to spend most of the night on. And proving your point is really driving the direction of debate in the future, because there's been a lot of conversation around debate culture, right? The the toxic nature of debate culture. But at the end of the day, debate is a tool that is used to drive critical thinking. And let's be honest, guys, I think that we lack a sense of critical thinking when it comes to where we are in reality today. So with that being said, if you're interested in actually joining the conversation, get in the box. Go ahead and request up. If you are someone that has not had the opportunity to join this conversation yet, get in the box. You do not have to be a quote unquote op. Any and everyone can join the conversation. Any and everyone can join the conversation. But when you get up here, be ready to actually dig into what debate culture should look like. We're gonna really get into that. So if you're someone who has tried to get up here for the last couple of nights, and I apologize about not being on last night, guys, that was on me. But if you have been trying to get up here and you have not had an opportunity, this is your chance. Go ahead and get in the box. I will start letting people in. As I let people in on the panel, please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. As I let you in, please mute yourself, and then we will go from there. All right. All right. Perfect. All right. So we have everyone loading up here, guys. If you don't mind, keep tapping the screen, share the live. Let's go ahead and get the likes up to 25,000 likes. Let's get the likes up to 25,000 likes. And again, I'm going to keep resetting the daily gift goal to these little 1-cent gift goals that'll help push us out to the FYP. And I'm going to continue to actually try to move people in and out tonight, right? I want to make sure I get as many people as possible. So if you are interested in joining the conversation, go ahead and get in the box. With that being said, we're going to start at the top. Gene, how are you?
Oh, what's up, Santana?
Hello. Gene, tell the people, do you engage in debate culture? And if so, how much?
I mean, I spend most of my day listening and watching a lot of debate live. So I do engage in the chat and everything. And the one thing I wanted to bring up, if that's cool, is that what debates should be about. Not only like
no.
You're right.
I don't.
I do take part. Sorry, I apologize. Didn't mean
no
to
worries. Perfect. You literally that's where I'm going next. But hold it. All right, give me a second. Wait, what? How are you?
It's going good.
Good. Wait, what? Can you tell the people? Do you engage in debate culture, and if so, how much?
A lot more with my family members now, and it's by watching panels like you guys. It really helped me out.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you so much. Purple D, how are you? Purple D.
Sorry, I had to figure out how to unmute myself.
No worries. Purple D, are you someone that engages in debate culture? And if so, how much?
Do you mean on TikTok or like in real life?
Either or.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've had to engage in it in real life a lot lately, as I have a really long-term friend that has gone to the dark side. So I've begun watching a lot of debates on TikTok live to sort of build my arsenal with reasonable, points I can make to him to try to bring him back over to the light side where we have cookies.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Well, thank you. Give me a second. Chasing, how are you?
Hey, Santana, how are you?
Wonderful. Chasing, are you someone that engages in debate culture? And if so, how much?
I'm always in the comments. I think you guys, most political lives are my hyper focus right now. So I'm always in the comments, and I have a lot of debates in my real life, but never online, like voice wise.
Okay. All right. All right. Perfect. Give me 1 second. Alt D. Alt D, how are you?
Hey, what's going on?
Marcus. It's Alt Demarcus. Demarcus, how are you?
Doing good, man.
Good. Demarcus, can you tell the people, do you engage in debate culture? And if so, how much?
In practice, yes. In execution, no. And unfortunately, too much to be counted.
Yeah.
Probably every day.
Absolutely. All right. Perfect. Give me a second here. And last but not least, Awesome Mom Boss. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Wonderful. Awesome Mom Boss. Can you tell the people, do you engage in debate culture? And if so, how much?
About 30%.
About 30%. Okay, that's really precise. All right, perfect. Give me a second here. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get the conversation started. And if you are interested in joining the panel, go ahead and request up. I will be rotating people in and out throughout the night. And with that being said, guys, this is for the people on the panel. Please be mindful of the words that you use. Please use TikTok friendly language, which means using words like pew pew, unalive, mustache man, C19. Also, Also, I want to remind everyone that this is a safe and friendly community. What does that mean? That means that we don't deal with any of the isms, racism, sexism, classism. We also don't do any of the phobias, homophobia, transphobia, none of that. We don't play that on the panel or in the chat. And speaking of the chat, please be mindful. Caps are for mods. Please do not use caps, because if you use caps, it will draw my attention away from the panel and to the chat. And we want to make sure that we're able to have this conversation. All right. Last but not least, guys, we do have a nightly donation goal of $250. So if you enjoy the information, education, entertainment, please consider donating. Everything is accepted. Anything's appreciated. If you're over on the YouTube, what up, YouTube? What up, Twitch? If you're over on the YouTube and you'd like to support the live, you can do so with a super chat, and I will read that out. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, I'm going to start with Eugene, because you were kind of getting into it. And for the last couple of nights, I've been, I've had the question as far as what is debate culture to you? But tonight, we're going to switch it up and we're going to start a little bit different. Gene, can you tell me, what should debate culture actually be?
I think debate culture should honestly be about the spread and discussion of like different ideas and ideals without bringing up human rights, because those are absolutely not up for debate. People's access. You can have a discussion about human rights, but the debate on access to human rights for people should not be up for debate. But what debate culture should be about is not necessarily changing people's minds or better understanding another person's opinions. Other than that, it should also be about better understanding and being more convicted within your own opinions. Like when you discuss, when you have a discussion with someone else, that's a debate. You can, the discussion and the exchange of ideas can definitely help you better understand your own viewpoints. And I think that should be one of the bigger goals of debate culture and education as well.
Okay. Perfect. Give me a second here. Wait, what? Coming to you. So Gene just actually set us off on the right path. And I kind of agree, right? That's what I think that debate culture should be. And he said something that actually just sparked in my mind. And I guess the question I have for you is, when you do engage in debate, what's your actual goal for such debate?
I guess understanding the other side before I give my point. And I guess trying to convince the other individual by giving them facts, reason, and logic to my whatever my decision is, or whatever subject we're talking about.
Okay. You know what? That's actually a good point, right? You always want to lay the facts and information out. You always want to try to make sure that you're properly conveying your message. Give me a moment here. Purple D. So Wait What had a great point, right? one of the things that you want to do is actually get your point across by delivering facts, right? But we all know that apparently today in this world, we live in a place where there's alternate facts. So Purple D, what do you do to ensure that anytime that you're delivering any type of facts, that one, they're credible, two, they're accepted, and three, there's something that you can actually prove?
Well, that's the whole problem with debating, people who are in a cult at this point, in that no matter how much I research my points and make sure that I have factual evidence and good sources and stuff like that, they are still willing to believe nothing from any kind of a legitimate source and believe just anything that anybody tells them to believe, even if it's completely Looney Tunes. So in some ways, it's like they're living in an alternate universe.
Okay. All right. So you're saying that no matter what the case may be, there's not always going to be insurance that the actual facts go over the way that they should. I can understand that. Okay.
Also with AI, like you can't even say like, here's a recording of a person saying exactly what I'm telling you that they said. And the other person can just say, well, how do I even know that's real? And you know what? On some level, they have a point because AI is getting so good now. It is hard to tell what's real and what's not real. And probably in another 6 months, we really won't be able to tell. And politicians and people who we want to hold accountable will be able to say things like, I didn't say that. That's a complete manufacturing. Unless you were sitting in the room with them as a live human being, hearing them say it, it's going to be really hard to hold people to account for things that they do say, especially if it's stuff like on a hot mic or things like that.
Okay. Yeah. No. I get it. I do. I think there's a lot to be said about the the shift as far as information today and what things are accepted, and then even more so the way that things can be manipulated. I think you have a great point. Chasing, coming to you. Chasing. So understanding that sometimes debate can be fruitful, but to Purple D's point, sometimes people aren't going to engage, right? Sometimes they're going to just say, oh, can you prove that? And then if you can prove it, then they can just say, fake news or whatever the case may be. But I guess my question is then, Chasing, where's the line of demarcation? When does it become no longer necessarily a debate and just a pointless discussion? And how do you know when to walk away?
I think when people start using anecdotal evidence more than actual facts, it's proven that they're not going to listen. They don't care about the facts. All they care about is what they know and what happens within their little circle that they have. So I'm a psychology student, so I always try to figure out how much deep they are, because sometimes it's too deep to combat, I feel like.
Yeah. And you can kind of tell when you've reached that point where you've officially hit that line, and there's no matter what you're going to say or do or whatever, there's no going back, and there's no point of actually debating anymore. Perfect. Give me a second here. DeMarcus, when you hit that line, right? And see, I'm coming to you because I already know what's going to happen, because I know I do the same thing. DeMarcus, why is it important to try to either find a positive solution in the debate or in the debate versus just crashing out?
I think you want to have validity to your argument, and just crashing out destroys all of that, because your main focus in the debate is to exchange validity. That's the entire point. Like, it doesn't matter, you might have a different source. I might have a different source. You might have different, peer review things that you have, and I do too. But if you're going to crash out on me, we can't get to that. And I think that's the important part in a lot of these debates.
Yeah, I completely agree. And even more so, like, once we get to that point, like there's no reason for us to even continue the conversation. And A lot of people, I think a lot of people miss the point that sometimes, every once in a while, a crash out is necessary. Sometimes it's good, but most of the time people actually want to hear that exchange of ideas. They want to actually hear that back and forth, and they don't really want to hear a crash out. So, awesome mom, question for you. What do you actually do to ensure that anytime that you are engaging with a disingenuous person, that you actually remain calm and focus on your points?
Sure. So for me, I'm always allowed to change my mind. If I come into a conversation with a point of view, but I hear something different, I'm always allowed to change my mind, right?
Meaning being open to new information. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Got it. Mm-hmm.
I'm allowed to say, hey, I feel like this, but if I hear new information, hey, that's okay to change your mind.
Yeah.
And say, hey, I'm wrong. Hey, I learned something new. Hey, I'm going to do something different. And I think that's important because so many people are so stuck on, I'm going to be here. But if they hear something new and learn information, they're not willing to do that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that there's a need to be open and willing to actually engage in new information and facts. Like that's the most critical part of the critical thinking. So I completely agree. Thank you for that. All right, guys, we have someone special on the panel. We have a I'll call a master debater. I think I can say that, right? I can say that. That's PG. Master debater. Kobe, Athena, how are you?
I'm not I'm not that good of a debater, but hi.
I've told you this a million times, and I don't understand why you keep trying to downplay yourself. Like it's wild.
Hello. Yeah. I listen, the moment I saw this topic, I was like, let me go up on Santana's live because Loki debate culture got me like crashing out a lot, right?
Yep.
I hate the. Should I start with? I don't know. Do you have a question?
I do. And not gonna lie, I'm gonna make you do some heavy lifting because I know you can handle it. I enjoyed everything that we just ran through on the panel, but there was something that I don't know if you got to see the end of the last live, right? And Erica and I were talking, and I said I really wanted to start off this live talking about this, but I think you're the perfect person to talk about this. Athena, what's up with the misogyny, or even more so the misogynoir in debate culture? Because at a lot of times it seems like a boys only club. And even when there's certain women that break through debate culture, specifically certain Black women that break through debate culture, they're often put in a position where if they end up on a panel with other men, then they are either spoke over or somewhat an afterthought. And I know that I've done that myself. I'm not above saying that I'm accountable for that. But why is it that in an actual, I guess you can call arena, where there are, it should be the best as far as who exchanges the best ideas, why is it that misogyny and even more so misogynoir persist? In which I just saw someone say, can I give the definition of both? I can do that, or Athena, if you want to do it, either one.
So misogyny is going to be the hatred towards women. Misogynoir is going to be the intersection of racism and misogyny towards Black women that reproduces a completely different experience or a unique experience to Black women.
That's so much better than me.
Yeah.
Jeez,
Yeah. So I think ultimately it has to do with people just not caring enough to deconstruct these isms, which is precisely why I don't like debate culture. I think generally people engage in debate culture not because they want to grow as human beings, not because they want to have productive conversations, but it's just about ego. It's about all the gotcha moments you can have. It's like this. I don't know. It's kind of like this spiritual, metaphorical, pardon my French, dick measuring contest of.
Hey, Mama Jones is watching. You can't say that
I'm
on late
so
nights.
sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You know what? I'll refrain from that. But it's kind of like,
ask you a question?
No, you. That's not how we do things here. You got to stay on mute. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Athena.
yeah, no, I was just gonna say it's kind of like a I know this many fallacies and the ontology and epistemology and da 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 da. And it's like, do the people who like are using these words even know what they mean? Or do they just like want to sound smart, you know? Without actually being smart. So I think like that's the issue ultimately, that the reason as to why so many people just reproduce the same hierarchies that exist, because again, debate culture is going to be a microcosm of society. And if it's full of a bunch of people who do not necessarily want to change their society, they're just going to end up reproducing whatever exists within society.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and it's super interesting that even in, because there's so many barriers that women run into when it comes to being able to advance in like the workplace, or in society, in multiple factors. And I think you hit it right on the head. It's a microcosm of what we live in, which is so strange because, like, if you can, it's a verbal jousting, right? If it's an exchange of ideas and intellect, and you can outwit me, outmatch me, then why should I be able to have a quote unquote leg up on you because, you're a woman and I'm a man? That doesn't make sense to me.
Also, again, people automatically think that women cannot be intellectual. People automatically assume that a woman has nothing to contribute to an intellectual conversation, because a woman is only there to either be the side character, or to be a vehicle of growth for a man, or to be like just I don't know, just be there and fulfill the role of entertainment. But it's like, what? You can contribute something intellectual? Like what? Absolutely not. You can't contribute anything to the modern advancement of society or the growth of society, right? So just shut up and sit to the side. And I think way too little people just educate themselves, and way too little people want to grow as human beings. They just are too comfortable with where they're at. And if Dr. Maya Angelou, when she was over 80 years old, could say that she's still learning every single day, people don't have any excuse.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think that's like a major part as far as what we lack in debate culture. And I want to come back up to Jean. Jean, one thing that I find very interesting is not only that certain people are willing to actually speak on topics that they actually don't know, but they do it with so much confidence. And I guess the question that I have for you is, why would anyone not look to educate themselves, especially if they are looking to engage in what you said debate should be, right? If they properly want to engage in what debate should be, then why wouldn't they properly educate themselves?
I think a lot of it can stem from people entering into the culture or the genre, or however you want to put it, for the wrong reasons. They're not there to get educated or learn or educate themselves. It's about the clout and about it's like anything that becomes more and more popular. Parker and Dean are awesome, but the fact that they became more and more popular made more and more people think that they can get into that culture and maybe make a buck from it or get clout from it. And I think that's why they don't tend to educate themselves, because they're in it for the wrong reasons.
Oh, you read my mind. You literally read my mind as far as where I was about to go. Okay, wait, what? Coming to you. Are we in an age where, what? Are you a man of a certain age? How old are you?
I'm 57.
That's what I thought. And wait, what? Are you a black man?
Yes, I am.
Listen, all right. I heard the soul in your voice. Wait, what? I'm sure at some point you've been in the barbershop and you have gone through Michael Jordan, LeBron James, or, Joe Montana, Dan Marino, or Tom Brady, or whatever. Like you've been in those type of debates in the barbershop as a black man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that people who would not normally take their debate outside of something that they feel comfortable with has seen what has happened online on TikTok and just immediately felt like, oh, I can do this without properly educating themselves? Do you think there's a false sense of reality that has been instilled by people watching other people and just saying oh, I can just go and debate anyone, but yet they don't do the actual groundwork to build themselves up to be able to put out any type of real information?
Well, you see the little startups out there, and they follow the same path as most right wing. They don't do their homework, and they try to talk fast. They try to talk over you, and they're not getting their point across, and the caller's not getting their point across. So we see it out there. It's easy for it to happen, yes. But it's hard to build a platform of loyal listeners like you have.
Yeah, no, and which don't get me wrong, because I don't think it's necessarily about building a platform, right? I think it's about any and everyone, because you see a lot of people that bounce around, right? You see a lot of people that actually bounce around and they engage in multiple topics or one topic. And there's some people that you would think they're doing it for, I guess, for lack of better words, the love of the game. But oftentimes they have nefarious reason. I guess, Purple D, coming to you. We've seen certain people that go into these live spaces, and instead of actually engaging in a positive way, they're there for nefarious reasons. Right? Whether it's to automatically crash out, automatically slur, or to perpetuate harm, right? Do you think that those people that are doing that are pushing debate culture to a more negative space? Or is that just debate culture? Those people like that, are they just a part of debate culture?
Well, it's a really unfortunate part of debate culture. But I feel like those people are trying to justify their point of view to themselves. Like they'll come up with some sort of a point of view, like, well, what about this or what about that, to try to prove their point. But really what they can't come out and say is the thing that they're not saying out loud is that they're just racist, or that they're just anti-immigrant, or they just don't like people because they're brown or whatever. And they'll come out with all these things to say that are so hostile because they're trying to justify it to themselves. And it comes across as so disingenuous and so angry to the rest of us, because we can see through what they're doing. And no matter how angry they are and they're screaming and they're yelling and, what about this anecdote? What about that anecdote? This person was murdered. This person was beat up, and this kind of a person did it, and therefore all those people are bad. Like, we all see what you're doing. You're not fooling us with the overt, with the covert racism. And that is a really unfortunate part of debate culture. And I wish there were a way to derail these people. And I mean, I've heard you try to do it. I think you're excellent at it. I heard you in a debate the other night talking to a black gentleman who was going on and on and on about Kamala Harris and how horrible she was. And, you know, disappointed in her as a black woman. And then a black woman came on afterwards and yelled at you, saying that you should have been more respectful to a black gentleman who was
Sorry. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but yeah, no, I remember that conversation, and I think that goes back to the bad faith actors, right? The people, because I remember that conversation. It was literally someone who, and that's the type of thing that I'm talking about. The person that ended up coming up, and I didn't know who the person was, but the person that ended up coming up was apparently someone that was well known. And they were going around and they continued to perpetuate those same stereotypes, those same lies, that same harm. And saying that has to be a part of debate culture, then that's bad, right? So I guess, Chasen, coming to you, if that is a part of debate culture, then how do we fix that? Because that sounds not only counterproductive, but it sounds like something that shouldn't exist at all.
So I think post C19, people have really lost community. And speaking from a Mexican who has community, I think white tea people haven't had that community and that acceptance. So when they found it, a lot of them are hanging on to that. They feel accepted, and I think it's for the grift more than anything. I think what we can do to combat it, I think, honestly, we really got to stop platforming Phil Bros. There's no point. I know it's good for the clickbait, and I know it's good for the views, but it's not good for anyone else because they will clip, a 20-minute discussion to 20 seconds and say that they owned you, and all the Phil Bros then believe it. And it just creates more and more Phil Bros. I think some people are just not worth platforming. I know we want to reach some people, and I know we want to reach our hand out, but when the isms are coming out, I don't feel like we're going to, because they're just trying to prove to themselves that what their fundamental beliefs are right.
Yeah, no. I do think that there has to be a line where we actually understand that it's not worth it, right? It's absolutely not worth it. And even more so, we have to actually take the time to realize when it's someone's being harmful. So I think that you absolutely nailed that. DeMarcus, coming back to you again. Help me understand this, because we've kind of talked about this, right? And the Phil Bros or debate bros or whatever, right? They always come up, and yes, while they want to get their philosophy talking points off, they often try to deal with certain things that are based in morality. One of their favorite topics is abortion, but they also dabble in, certain forms of transphobia, racism, those types of things. And my question is, why do you think that those type of people who are specifically looking at this as kind of a sport lean into the worst parts of humanity in order to get their point across, to get a W? Like, why are they so willing to do that, to just win the debate?
Well, from their own point of view, the winners write the history books. So it really doesn't matter if they lose. It doesn't matter that, just from the numbers, they're literally wiping themselves out mathematically. Literally 26 million white tea people have unalived since 2019. They know this is their last ditch effort at any type of hold on society as far as white supremacy is concerned, because we have technology. Their sources are through memes. Our sources are through actual valid sources and actually communing with people to share information. So when you have one person actually just getting their information from a picture that was made from AI, and then you have another person that's, quote unquote, debating with this person that's actually getting information from people who actually read and not just, things that they agree with, but anything that actually has some type of peer source, you're not going to actually get to an actual win because you're debating ideology at that point. So it's not about the actual win, as you said, it's about the cutting that 20 seconds just to say, hey, I own the libs.
Yeah.
Because that pushes the narrative so they can write the history books.
Okay. Perfect. Give me a second here. Athena, I'm coming to you in just a moment, but I want you to think about this while I read this off. Athena, I want to know. I really want to know. Is it time to actually just give up debate culture, or can it be saved? Think about that for a second. W's in the chat for Taro. Taro sent a $2 super chat to say Jaws soundtrack. Whole wheat eggs, bro. I've told you a million times. Brown eggs are not whole wheat eggs. Stop saying that. Also, W's in the chat for Nina for the $2 super chat to say you've hit their insecurities. Absolutely. I know. W's in the chat for the super chats. Guys, if anyone else would like to support the live, we do have a nightly donation goal of $250. There's 625 people hanging out here. If 250 people send $1, we can close out our nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links and links are in the bio. Santana speaks for you. Santana speaks for you is the best way to support the live. Everything is accepted. Anything's appreciated. And if you're on YouTube and you like to support the live, you can do so with the super chat, and I will read that out. Athena, is it time that we, put the debate culture out to pasture, or can we fix it? Can we save it? Can we change it?
Now you know damn well what my answer is going to be.
I don't know.
Listen, I am all for throwing that shit in the trash and setting the trash on fire. I'm so sorry. I am all for throwing it in the trash and setting it on fire. Okay. I think I cannot and when you're saying debate culture, right? What I understand under debate culture is not like having these discussions, right? That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Phil bros. I'm talking about the people who sit there saying, well, actually, this is a Scotsman's fallacy or whatever it is, right? Those are the people that I'm talking about, right? It is legitimately so irritating, especially when they're talking about abortion rights. And then you see a bunch of young white dudes just sitting there saying, well, what if a pipe impales two people and then you have to choose which person gets to live and which person gets to survive? What decision would you make? And I'm like, what does this have to do with abortion? Why do these people who are literally young white men who would never, ever, ever get impacted by any of this, why are they why is it so fun for them to sit here and debate it? Why is it fun for them to sit here and debate the rights of people, groups that they do not belong to, right? So that is the issue that I have, right? I have no issue with, let's say, for example, a person choosing to, let's say, debate a topic that impacts them or discuss a topic that impacts them, right? But most of the times, the people who are the Phil bros are the people who are literally the most privileged. The ones who are cishet white men who are not going to be impacted by any of this. And so they can comfortably debate the rights and the existences of other groups of people. And so let's talk about that. There's a reason as to why a lot of the debate culture circles are predominantly young cishet white men. There's a reason as to why it's predominantly them. And that is because, again, they're comfortable, right? They can comfortably stay logical while the other person is just coming up with the craziest hypotheticals. Whereas, let's say me, right? As a person who is Black, who is a woman, right? Who does come from the global South, like, it pisses me off to think that I have to sit there and debate my humanity or my existence to a people or to society that continues to challenge it. But they don't have their humanity challenged. And that's why it's so easy to do that, right? So throw debate culture in the trash. I think we need to create something completely different, in my opinion.
Listen, so I don't want to go there yet, but yeah, we are going to get to what, but I don't want to go there just yet. I want to stick right there. Brenda, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. And you?
Wonderful. Brenda, so Kobe had a word, right? That's what we call in the Black community. It was a word. She was preaching just now, right? She took us to church. I guess the point that I kind of want to land on, right, is with the privilege that you see that certain people in debate culture have, is it a situation where it's just cosplaying? Or do you feel like it's a situation with cosplaying, right? Is it just people playing with ideas and thoughts and things that they never have to actually worry about? Or do you think that any of them actually care?
I don't believe that they care. I think I've said it on here before. I just learned after CK's unaliving that, the malicious contrarian, they're all doing it just to, cause division, and get people that, well, considering the fact that he was going to college campuses, he's debating people that, their brains aren't fully developed and they don't necessarily have the critical thinking skills to realize that, in my opinion, those people should not be engaged with, let alone platformed. But the fact that they are done so, like she said, I mean, they are wealthy. I mean, CK's dad had a lot of money. So, and then he was backed by a bunch of billionaires. So, and it's just one after another, and it's just getting worse and worse, It's infuriating, but I mean, I don't know how to stop it,
Yeah. Okay, give me a second here. Gene, coming back to you, I want to hear from you on this, and then I'm going to go ahead and swap you out. So Brenda just brought up a great point, right? And Athena started it, talking about the people that are directly they're debating from a place of influence. I mean, a place of privilege. And then Brenda called out one of the most quote unquote influential debaters, right? And for better or for worse, the propaganda that Charlie Kirk pushed was very influential to young white men. It resonated with them. Do you think that other people can wield the tool of debate to help shift and craft young minds to more of a positive position? Or do you think that that's something that, because of the Philbro culture that exists, the privilege that exists for certain people when they do engage in debate, if it's someone that is not a part of that group, then it'll be harder to actually influence those young minds?
I think that that's the ideal way to go about it, to try and positively influence young minds, as they're still developing. The only problem with that is, well, there's a few problems with that, but one of the bigger problems with that is society as a whole. You have to kind of change society as you're trying to influence young minds, because these red pill podcasts, everybody, we're in a day and age where everybody has access to a mic and to podcast abilities, and they're getting hit with information from both sides all over the place. And it's I don't know how to exactly put it, but it's like that's the ideal thing to do, but I don't know how to really go about it, because it's harder, it's easier said than done.
Yeah, I do. No, I agree. I think it is a lot easier said than done, and like the goal should be, like I said at the start, critical thinking and driving a spirit of debate and critical thinking, and I think that's something we're going to dig into a little bit more. But Gene, I'm going to go ahead and swap you out. I appreciate you coming up here and hanging out with us.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for having me, and justice for tamales. Justice
for tamales. Have a good one. Guys, W's in the chat for Jay. This is Jay, who sent a $5 donation to the nightly donation goals. And the fuck, I can't say that. Excuse me. Sorry. The F, brown eggs are 100% whole wheat from your biggest op. Stop it, Jay. Stop it. We're not going to do that. I don't know. You guys are wild. W's in the chat from JAE, who sent a $5 donation saying, I'm a trans man in Alabama. I'm afraid most days to leave the house for fear of being unalive and harmed, for living my truth. Thank you for always standing up for my community. Much love. I love you so much. And hopefully, there's a time soon where you don't have to actually live in fear like that. And, continue to build your community, especially here, right? Especially here. Protect yourself at all times, and we got your back as much as possible. But thank you so much for that. Guys, that means we only have $240 left in the nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks for You. It's the best way to support the live. Everything is accepted, anything's appreciated. If you're over on the YouTube, you can send a super chat and I will read that out. Purple D, I want to come to you and then I'm going to swap you out after this. But I would like to know from you specifically, Athena talked about reshaping debate culture, right? Throwing it in the trash from where it is. Is there anything that you can think of now in this current iteration that's worth saying, you know what? Maybe we need to hold on to this piece, or maybe we need to make sure this piece thrives, because it can't all be bad, right?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked me that, because what Athena was talking about kind of is like describing what's been going on in the House and the Senate for 100 years, which was white men, mostly white Christian men, deciding and debating things that they don't really have any right to speak on, like women's bodies and things like that. And similarly, when you watch the debates that are happening, especially in places like TikTok, you do get that little bit of an echo chamber, but I have seen some people get enlightened and be exposed to ideas and data that they otherwise would not get exposed to. And, for example, I think two buddies of yours that I guess I'm not supposed to say the names of other creators, but I know.
Yeah, let's just stay away from calling creators names, unless you want to say Santana. No. You can use me as an example.
Yes, no, I'm just saying particular creators that maybe grew up in conservative households suddenly got enough information to sort of see enlightenment and change their opinion. And now if people like you and them are educating similar people that grew up with very limited knowledge and, come from families that are just saying the same things over and over again and kind of programming them and brainwashing them, and they're learning things in their church. And they're like, in order to be a good person, you have to believe these negative stereotypes and these things about bad people. The debate culture can open these people's minds if they're willing to have their mind open. I mean, some people I think are hopelessly lost. They're hopelessly lost, and that breaks my heart. But occasionally you will hear in these conversations somebody say, I never thought of that before. I never thought of that perspective, because they weren't really taught empathy and like figuring out how to think about something from someone else's perspective from the jump. All they have is their own data points and what happens in their own life. And, like they could give two craps about gay rights ever until suddenly a person in their family is gay. And then they start thinking about, well, should my relative have to live with these kinds of persecutions? And their mind kind of opens. And so unless they have the specific experience, they don't have the empathy to just kind of like feel that to begin with. They have to be exposed to it. And that is a positive outcome of debate culture, even if we have to put up with some of the bullshit, like Covey was saying, of
Also, language. Holy smokes.
but it's like
Mama's
midnight
watching.
where I live. Really? Do we
My
have like
mom is
10-year-olds?
my mom is still watching.
Yeah,
Mom
well,
Jones watching.
so your
Did you
mama
hear the
knows how to
song?
spell that word. So
No,
it's okay.
this is late nights.
That's right. You can even say that word on CNN now, The president, unfortunately, says that word. He called whole countries that word, remember? So that word is part of the vernacular now that's like not even considered a bad word anymore. Like, the norms have gone way, way down since I was a kid anyway. So George Carlin said all the words you couldn't say on TV, but I've heard them all on TV now.
Purple D.
Yes.
Purple D.
Yep. What are you going to say?
This is late nights, guys. I try to make sure I don't use profanity, and I expect the same out of the panel. Just saying. Sorry. Crashing, coming to you.
Pushback on something she said.
Sure, go ahead, Athena.
Sorry. Yeah. So I think so I understand what she was saying, right? I mean, she's gone right now. I understand what she was saying in that sometimes it takes people from said community to be able to reach out to, like other folks, right? I fully understand that. The issue that I have though is, did those people deconstruct themselves? The people who are hosting these conversations, right? Because if people are not addressing the very deep-rooted issues, but are just addressing the surface level issues, then they're not actually deconstructing either, right? They're not actually, if you keep just addressing the symptom, but you're not addressing the actual thing that's causing the symptom, then you're not actually helping, right? It's just a very surface level, deconstruction or conversation that you're having. And then the question is, how productive is that? If you have a bunch of people in society who continue watching you, but then they are not fully deconstructing because the conversations being had are very surface level, then is it actually productive? It's like continuing to put a Band-Aid on a, wound and then saying you're doing something when you're not, By the way, Chad, I'm not speaking about any specific creators. I didn't like the fact that some people were trying to speculate that. This is just a very general conversation that I'm saying, that I'm having in general. People are having way too many surface level conversations about deeply embedded issues.
I agree. And I've seen that as well lately, where there are certain people that host different topics, and it's wild. They host this topic and they, not only are they not, someone that's affected by the topic, but they haven't taken the proper steps to actually educate themselves on the topic. And then they end up getting caught in a situation where the people that they're supposedly holding the space for pushes back and says hey, why are you doing this? Why are you saying this? And they can't actually defend anything. And you find out that one, yes, it is very surface level, but two, it's just a talking point, super disingenuous. And so that's a negative part of debate culture as well. And I guess, Chasing, I'm coming to you and I'm going to swap you out after this. But Chasing, what do we do with those type of people? Because I think there's an insidious side of debate culture, right? And let's keep it honest. Let's keep it funky. There are certain people who say that they care about this topic or that topic, They say that I care about the Palestinians. I care about what's happening in Sudan. I care about the people in Alaska. I care about, the people that are unhoused. I care about this. I care about that. I care about black people. I care about women. I care about queer people. They say these things. And they say, you know what? That's why I'm running this topic. That's why I'm saying, should this happen? Or should these people be this? Or should these people be that? And they spend time only talking about that thing a little bit and more time promoting a product, trying to get a TikTok universe or, other things, which I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with the capitalism, but they prove to be disingenuous because they run this topic and then they move off of it and you never hear them talk about it again. So I guess my question is, what do we do with those nefarious people when we realize that these people aren't really, one, they're not even knowledgeable of the topics that they're talking about, but two, they don't really care.
I think we got to remember that most of these people that are coming up are doing the same chat in every single live. They're doing it to you, they're doing it to the next grader, they're going to the next one. And I think we all become accustomed to them. And if we know who they are, I think it's time to stop platforming them.
No. I think you got this confused. I'm not talking about the platform me. I'm talking about the platform.
Not you.
Yeah, no. The actual people that hold these spaces, because we see them, right? They're
Mm-hmm.
1 week, they're the biggest thing that's happening in their world is, Palestine. And then the next week, the biggest thing that's happening in their world is the new Star Wars movie or something. They not only do they have these topics that are, to Athena's point, they're super deep, but they only cover the information surface level. And then they moved on to the next hot thing, the next interesting thing, the next talking point. How do you deal with them?
I think the answer is you don't. I think some of these people are doing it just for the grift. I think it's layer on top of layer, and it's pretty performative. I think if you're producing facts and they keep coming back with anecdotal evidence or, okay, but that's fake, or I don't believe in your statistics, I don't think you can win with someone who thinks politics and people's lives are a game. And it's become a game for these people because they'll never be affected. I think we need to notice when people are being genuine and when people are platforming these things. You know who they are. We know who are jumping around and, are being performative one way or another. We know who won't mention the thing that happened last week. Stop following them.
Yeah.
You're not one of those Santanas. You know this. But they are some people.
Well, I do
that
enjoy
are
the
like
grift.
that. Oh, and that's fine.
No.
That's fine. Get it. But you come out, you teach people, and you are here to get below the surface. Some of these people will stay on the surface the whole day. And we know this. I think it's time for us to open eyes because people are waking up and people are coming to our side. And I know we don't like them very much because they're the reason we're here, but we do have to give a little bit of grace. But if they're disingenuous, there's no grace.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think a lot of people don't understand like the actual, the necessity to sniff out anyone who's not really about the people or about, not even necessarily the people, about the things that they say they're about. Because let me be clear about
it on a basic level.
Yeah. And let me be clear about this, right? Because if people are honest about who they are, what they're about, right? I don't have an issue with it. Like for me, if someone can be like the most horrible person on earth, as long as they're upfront about being the horrible person and I know who they are, then I know how to deal with them. But it's when the people hide behind a facade and then they pretend that they're this or that, or they care about this and that, and they really don't. Those are the ones we worry about. But Chasen, thank you so much for coming up. I'm gonna swap you out, okay?
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. DeMarcus, I want to stick there for a second because I really want to try to get to it.
What about me, Santana?
Not your turn yet, Rob. Hold tight. This is a panel discussion. DeMarcus, how do we engage those people that we know, or at the very least, we sniff out that they don't have good intentions? Because I'm going to be honest. There's a couple of different people that have been on this app specifically, and they've utilized debate culture to grow in multiple ways. They grew influence, they grew money, they grew all of these different things, and they portrayed images. And all the time, there were nefarious intentions, there was harm, there was a lot of different stuff happening. And I feel like debate culture allowed not only that to grow, but for that to hide in plain sight. And for people that knew, for them not to say anything because of debate culture. How do we make sure that that doesn't happen again or continue to happen? How do we make sure the people that are smiling in our face, but stabbing other people in the back are no longer beneficiaries of debate culture? DeMarcus, did I scare you off with the question? DeMarcus like, I'm gonna just sit here on mute and I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear nothing he said. DeMarcus, I'm sending you a request to come off mute. DeMarcus ran from the question chat. L's in the chat for DeMarcus.
Can you elaborate on the question again?
How do we ensure that people who have used debate culture for nefarious means and have been harmful, who has portrayed a smile in everyone's face but stabbed so many others in the back, how do we ensure that those type of people no longer are able to use debate culture to cultivate money and power or fame or whatever? Like, how do we snuff that out and keep them from being able to like use debate culture for those means?
Oh, easy. Call them out. I feel like low key, I kind of sometimes might be known for this as well. But yeah.
No lie, me and my wife was just talking about that today. No lie. No lie. Swear we was just talking about you today. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's about like, I feel like sometimes if you host lives, if you're in the circles, you also have a duty to protect people. It's kind of like a responsibility that you have, you know. And if you know something, it is also very important that you share it. If you were a victim of something, it's important that you try to assure that you are possibly the last victim, right? So I think, like, in my opinion, what I would usually do is I just, you know, I name them, shame them, and then move on. And the people who are watching, that's ultimately their decision. It's their decision to either continue supporting the person, or it's their decision to say, you know what, like, I don't want to address this person. And I think, like, you also have to have some level of discernment when it comes to whether you should do a call out live or not. Because sometimes some people don't deserve a call out live, because doing a call out live is going to give them much more attention than is needed. And sometimes what would be needed is just to privately warn people, like, hey, this person is not good. That might suffice, but if it's depending on how big of a threat that person is, your approach can vary.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that different strokes for different folks. But I think the biggest thing that I could ever pull from that is, if you see something, say something. And I know it's like just catchphrases, but I think that a lot of people get caught up in what this is or what this isn't, and they parlay it into some people parlay it into a career, some people parlay it into fame or whatever the case may be, and other people kind of, it's weird. Athena, I like groupies in debate talk. That's weird, right?
Definitely.
But it's a thing.
Yeah, that's definitely weird.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay. All right. 1 second here. All right. We're going to introduce the new people on the panel. New people on the panel have some decorum, and specifically, before I say any names, they already know who I'm talking about. So when I introduce the new people on the panel, make sure the new people on the panel have decorum. Really quick, guys, there is $240 left in the nightly donation goal. There are 667 people hanging out here. If 240 people send $1, we can close out the nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. All the pay links and links are in the bio. Santana speaks for you. Best way to support the live. Everything's accepted, anything's appreciated. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat. I will read that out. Guys, let's tap the screen. Let's see if we can get the likes up to 200,000 likes. And just do all the wonderful things. Also, don't forget to hit the follow button if you're not following me. Rob, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking, Santana. Why didn't you introduce me as a master debater?
Because you're not Rob. Rob, what is debate culture to you?
Am I the master debater? Or am I the master debater? Santana.
Rob, what is debate culture to you?
It's me being myself and debating anybody that thinks they can beat me. And everybody thinks they can beat me, but nobody has a chance.
Okay, Rob, this is a serious topic, so we're gonna try to engage.
A serious topic. Okay, what happened in Congress today? Did they pass the CR bill?
No, they didn't. But what does that have to do with debate culture?
Well, I'm informed. I can debate anyone. You know that, Santana.
Okay. But Rob, what is debate culture?
Well, I really don't have to debate anyone because I'm victorious just before I even start.
Okay.
But go ahead and debate me.
Kick you? Yes, I'm
whatever you want to debate me on.
I'm gonna kick you, Rob, okay?
I know you're
gonna kick you. Chat, that was not of my own volition. That was not a Santana decision. Not on late nights. Corey, how are you?
I'm all right, man. How about you?
Wonderful. Corey, I I know I've been asking the question, what is debate culture to you? But the question I have for you more specifically is, what do you think debate culture should be?
What it should be, I guess getting on here, like using your platform and just, telling the truth. Because, a lot of stuff I've been seeing on here is like just a bunch of like disingenuous BS, man. Like when we see people out here putting out hateful rhetoric, weird talking points, like I don't know. My opinion on it's a little bit more aggressive, but I just think we got to start calling people out. Like, you say something stupid, like, I'm gonna call you stupid. If you say something racist, I'm gonna call you racist. Like, if you say something hateful, I'm gonna call you hateful. And that's just really how I keep it.
Got it. I do think that there is a need to actually directly call out what you see, right, and actually be willing to address those things head on. I have a saying, I'd say it with your chest. Like, I literally tell people that I debate, like, I don't care about the hateful stuff. You can say all the hateful stuff that you want if you turn your camera on and actually say it with your chest, and not hide behind like a fake profile picture or whatever. So I agree with you. I think there is a need to actually be more direct and have those real conversations. You said they won't. Do you think that they actually lack the ability to do so?
Yeah, sometimes, there is like actually just, misinformed people out here, but a lot of the times you can hit them with every fact in the book and they'll just sit there and say like, oh, they'll bring up something about like trans people or something like that. Like, it's just weird, like talking points that I see. Like, it's funny enough. I was talking to my friend and he was really telling his stepdad about how people are losing food stamps, and this guy said something that I've like actually never heard. He went and said, "Why are the Democrats paying for vasectomies in Zimbabwe?" And when I just hear stuff like that, I just think we like really lost the plot.
Yeah. I think so as well. I think so as well. And the what about is crazy. But yeah, give me a second here. Megan, how are you? Megan, are you there? Megan, I'm sending you a request to come off mute. Megan going once. Megan going twice. All right, Megan, I'm going to drop you down. Schmitty, how are you, my brother?
Good. How are you? How are you doing tonight, man? This is an interesting topic.
It is, Smitty. Just like I told Athena, I'm gonna have you do some heavy lifting because I know you can do it. So first and foremost, I want to know what's wrong with debate culture today, and Smitty, more specifically, how do we fix that?
Well, I think I will speak for what I've seen. So this doesn't apply to every platform. But I think what is wrong with debate talk at times is that we debate topics that aren't really debatable, meaning that we debate human rights issues that when there is a debate, it turns from a debate into trauma, right? Instead of we're debating political things, right? We're debating there's two sides, right? Type situations. We sometimes, and I'm guilty of this, right? We sometimes debate in the name of education. Again, human rights issues where it should be no debate. And again, anytime you do that and you have folks who are attracted to this app in order to gain followers or in order to, please their narcissistic selves, right? They will say or do anything to gain attention. And again, what oftentimes we forget, even as hosts, right? When we have however many hundreds of people, thousands of people in our lives, we forget sometimes that there are many, many people, far more people watch us and never comment. And those are the people that are really trying to get an education. Those are the people oftentimes that get hurt. And we do have a responsibility. This is where I agree with my little sis, Covey, Athena. where we do have a responsibility to look out for everyone. Sometimes even the best hosts fail that.
I agree. And you know what's it's funny and like I have my better angel sitting on my shoulder, right? Often times when I'm live, there's certain people pinging me in the Discord or texting me and saying, "Hey, calm down, slow down, don't say that, do this." And if it wasn't for them, I don't think that I would have the ability to stay calm in certain situations or, be the best versions of me. So I do think that you're absolutely right. Like the responsibility lies on here with us. Smitty, I want to flip it for a second because this is something I talked about. Were you here last night or not last night, but the night before?
No, I think I popped in last night for a minute, but I don't think I was here the night before.
Okay. So did you hear me with the conversation about the chat?
No, I didn't hear that.
Oh, okay, good. So I told the chat, and chat, I'm gonna tell on you because I said this to you, so I'm not talking about you. I've already addressed this with you, so don't try to talk bad about me now because I've already called you out directly. This is not a call out. This is a call in. All right, Schmitty. Sometimes the chat is toxic. Sometimes the chat can actually go into like this dogpiling mentality and even take it too far in certain instances where there's someone that comes up in their quote unquote ops, right? And the chat, not only do they engage in like harmful things in the chat, but they might go as far as like going into people inboxes or whatever the case may be. Why do you think that is? And even more so, what responsibility does the chat have to actually reflect the host if it's someone that they're there because they say they enjoy that live, that creator or whatever? Like, what role does the chat have to properly represent what that person is trying to portray?
Wow, that is a deep question. And as a host I love my chat, love them. I think I will say this, this may be a little controversial, but I do think the chat sometimes is a reflection of the structure of the live that the host is hosting. And so, I always, as a host, feel like the responsibility starts with me. And if I'm not talking to the chat and telling them, hey, look, this is what I need right now. This is what I need y'all to be focused on. And just having, just strict rules for everybody. Because the reality is in debate talk, your chat is going to be mixed. There's going to be people that don't like you as a host. You know that, right? There's going to be people that try to get you off your game as a host. But overall, I think your supporters oftentimes are really looking out for you, and they're so passionate about you that they see somebody that you may not see as a threat, that really is a threat. And sometimes, again, I'm taking this back to us hosts, right? Sometimes we bring people up again in the sake of education. Hey, here's an op, right? This is exactly what I've been trying to educate you on as a host. But again, the op takes it too far, and the chat is reacting, trying to get your attention off the time again as a host. And sometimes, again, we don't necessarily pay the attention that we need to pay to the chat. And that's why, you have great mods. I have great mods. And that to me is where the mods also play a role in it. But overall, I think, to me, this is my opinion, okay? I think that I'm going to take the good with the bad with the chat. Because they're going to be the ones when you're down as a host, when you are, debating on hitting that plus button to start a live and you get on and they give you that love, there's nothing like it. Honestly, there's nothing like it. So, that might have been a more middle of the road answer than
it was. You let the chat skate. Don't worry. I gave him. Don't worry. I told him to cut the crap. You let him skate, but I told him to cut the crap.
I love it.
Yeah. All right. Give me a second here. April, coming to you. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
April, pretty simple question for you right now. What's
Okay.
your favorite part of debate culture? And What do you dislike the most about debate culture?
I like that debate culture, at least in my opinion, has room for all styles, right? We have like the highly academic, timed, what you do in college, and then we have like that and sort of every shade between that and what ends up on TikTok, right? And what I like about specifically TikTok debate culture is that for me, I found one person who was debating things and I thought, oh, they seem really cool. And it turned out that they were indeed disingenuous. But finding that one person led me to another, led me to another, led me to another. And I think that for those of us that don't like participate in the same way that you guys do, being able to have access to different styles and different viewpoints has been really useful for me in like learning and deconstructing the things about my worldview that need to change. And so like, I don't know, I don't think there's a one size fits all approach. I agree with you that like, this is your late night and this is your space and what you want should be respected, like no questions asked, right? But another person's space might be more okay with more aggressive messages in the chat or a little more aggro in their conversation. But I actually think it's okay to have it like that. It's okay. There's enough room for everyone.
That's actually like a great point. And I'm going to kind of flip it on you halfway through your sentence because now I want to know, because we were kind of talking about this, how do you ensure that you adjust from space to space? Because you're perfectly right. You're absolutely right. Every space is not the same. And I gave this example the other night, two spaces that I frequent a lot and people see me in a lot, but they're completely two different spaces. And it literally happened tonight. I was on Parker's Live, which Parker has a different space. And then I left Parker's Live and I went into Erica's Live, and Erica has a different space. And people tend to follow me from one live to the other. And I have to often call out like the chat that came in from Parker's Live and say, hey, please remember this is a Black woman space. You need to actually respect this space. You need to understand what's happening here. How or what role does the chat have as far as when you frequent different spaces to understand the tone and temperament of those spaces so you're not disrespecting the person that's trying to hold that space?
What I do is I just observe for a while first, without commenting, without participating in any way. And then I sort of try and go based on the flow of the room, right? And I don't know that that's something that like everybody does. Some people just might like, slam open that door and show up in whatever way they want. But like, I try to observe for a while first, like read the room a little bit and then move from there. And like, I try to like look for like context cues. Like if a creator is egging on a person they're debating with and the chat is participating, then for me, that's a green flag of like, okay, if the creator is doing that, then that is allowable in this space. But like with you and a couple others, if a creator especially like specifically states, like not implied, not it's just not happening, but also goes through the process of like specifically stating, hey, this is the kind of vibe I want in my room, then you honor that. And like, but I think when we're talking about the comment sections, I am guilty of going after, like, I'm guilty of talking smack in the comment sections, but usually it is about things that I find to be undebatable. And those topics have already been discussed, like human rights or whatever. But if somebody comes in and seems like they just genuinely are, maybe they're like a little bit naive or ignorant or just lacking information, I don't really get upset, and I don't really understand why the chat will gang up on people that are just not there yet versus the people who are being aggressive on purpose, right? Like if somebody is not there yet, I don't understand why being like that is helpful.
Yeah, I think that it's a herd mentality, and a lot of people engage in, especially when it starts dogpiling. And you know, as much flack as I just gave Smitty, I do think that it's the host's responsibility to actually cool the temperament of the chat and you know, and make sure that they aren't being overly assertive or whatever the case may be. And that's why you know, and anyone who watches me go from space to space, especially if I feel comfortable in the space with the other people and you know, with the host specifically, I will like speak directly to the chat. And I think that's the biggest way that you can tell how comfortable I am with, or you know, the person that I'm with. If I start, you know, talking to the chat and you know, making sure that I keep them in line as well, that means that like not only am I comfortable with the creator, but I'm comfortable with the space, and the space should actually know better and do better. And I think that, you know, that's a responsibility of the creator and the actual chat as well. So thank you for that. Really quick, W's in the chat for Storm Muffin, who became a late night tuber. W's in the chat for you, but also sent a $5 super chat, say for your authenticity and humanity. Thank you so much. That actually means a lot to me. I really appreciate you. Guys, and anyone else would like to support the live, you can do so. We still have $240 left in the nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks for You is the best way to support the live. Everything is accepted and things appreciated. If you're over on the YouTube and you like to support the live, you can do so by sending a super chat, and I will read that out. Madeline, I want to come to you. How are you? Or isn't it's not Madeline?
You mean Melinda?
Yes, I'm sorry. What?
No, you're good. I was just like, just
I
didn't
had
want
to I had to look closer.
You're good. I just wanted to make sure I didn't start talking if it wasn't actually
I'm
direct.
sorry. Yeah. Melinda, first and foremost, what should debate culture be for you?
I feel like debate culture should be a place where it should be based more on like factual evidence instead of the fifis and your tum-tums. And that it should be a place where you should be able to have open arguments with each other and be respectful to each other and be able to learn, where each party should be able to openly listen, but not just to like quickly respond with their facts, but listen to actually like understand where the other one's coming from, and then be able to effectively rebuttal with what they need to do to answer that. And I know sometimes there's guests that do that, but I feel like a lot of the times they're not that way. They just end up like deflecting and trying to pivot, or they just don't come in with any facts at all, or any, it's like a trust me bro type situation. And it's kind of frustrating because I learn a lot from these as well. Like I didn't know anything really prior to a lot of these. And that's like coming in and finding all of you guys is where I start learning a lot of things. And then like, so I don't openly debate, but I do listen a lot. And that's why I think that the open conversation is also really good for like the chat itself too, because a lot of them may be like me too, who just are in there to also learn and hear individuals' perspectives on things, because maybe they also would like to learn how to discuss this with their family members who don't want to listen to them, or maybe they just themselves don't know how to discuss it either without their family members pivoting and things like that too. So that's what I think it should be like.
Okay. Let me ask you a quick question.
Sure.
What do you do when you end up in a space that isn't like that, right? Because we've all seen, I don't like panel discussions at all, because you have too many people on the panel and you have like 5-6 people talking over each other. You can't really hear people. It's a lot. It's super chaotic. I can't keep up. And it seems so unproductive.
Yeah, agreed.
What do you do when you find yourself in those spaces?
Most of the time when I'm in those spaces, I really don't even say anything because I feel really overwhelmed, and I feel like I'm constantly just trying to listen and trying to pick up and understand what everybody's talking about. So, and then if I do, I tend to target in on maybe one or two individuals, and then maybe I'll try to respond to those individuals. But if I can't get anything with those individuals, or they're just going to automatically talk smack or whatever, I'm not here for the talking smack. I'm also not here for the, if you want to say fake news, things like that, where you can't come to try to accept my facts. And then I leave at that point because I get very frustrated and upset because I'm coming with real facts. I want to have a discussion, and I want to be able to come toe to toe and be able to have a valid conversation and be able to see each other's points. And maybe we won't be able to change each other's minds, but maybe we can see from the other perspective. And that's what I'm trying to gather. And if we can't, then I'm going to walk away because there's no point for me to waste my breath with you.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And oftentimes, some of my favorite people that I like to watch who host lives often panel hop. And for some reason, they enjoy going into the panels where there's a bunch of people and it's super chaotic. And I just can't even watch because it's overstimulating for me. I hear everything and I'm reacting to everything and I just can't do it. And so those spaces just aren't the type of spaces for me. But all right, perfect. Give me a second here. All right, guys, really quick. I want to come to Athena, but before I do, I just want to give everybody a heads up. This isn't a normal commercial break or anything. This is something super important. So please, if everyone could just lock in for a few moments. Athena, floor is yours.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. I was about to drop, but before I dropped, I just wanted to tell people here, I want to take the opportunity to kind of inform people on what's happening currently in Sudan. I've noticed that a lot of mainstream media is just either not talking about it at all or choosing to label it a civil war when it's not a civil war. It's a full-blown genocide. I don't know if I can say that word here, but it's a full-blown genocide. Yeah.
I'm about to say F it, we ball, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's a full-blown genocide. It's also an invasion by the UAE, by the United Arab Emirates. Dubai is in the UAE. A lot of people might not know about the UAE, but yeah, so the UAE has actively invaded Sudan for its gold, for access to the Red Sea and to destabilize East Africa. More than 5,000 people were killed in the 48 hours. That is one person getting killed every 34 seconds. Okay. The videos that I saw, if you want to see how bad things are, just go to X, go to Instagram and just write El Fasher. Okay. ELFASHER. That's the largest city in the Darfur region in Western Sudan. And it was under siege for over 500 days where they blocked it completely, blockaded it. Nothing was going in, nothing was going out. It has experienced level 5 famine for the past year. They already unalived 5,000 people, more than 5,000 people in 48 hours. There was a maternity ward that was attacked where they unalived 460 people in that one maternity ward. So there has been so much bloodshed that you can literally see it from satellite imagery. Satellite imagery has actively shown blood stains and discolorations on the ground. That's a level of massacre there is. That city has a population of about 230,000. Half of them are children. There have also been rape victims who are 1 year old. You heard me right. I said rape victims with an S, because there have been multiple 1 year old victims who have been raped. And all of this is being funded, supported by the UAE, or the UAE is doing this genocide, and your taxpayer dollars is going to it. Trump authorized the sale of $1.4 billion worth of weapons to go to the UAE, who was doing this G-side, and China and Russia are also funding it. And you also have even Colombian mercenaries listening to reggaeton while participating in the G-side. They've posted videos listening to reggaeton, right, dancing to it. So it's genuinely like actually hell on earth. It's so dystopian if you watch the videos. So what I would suggest is go to X, watch the videos so you can understand the level of urgency. And number one, raise awareness about it. Use your platforms to talk about it. Number two, donate to a charity called Hope and Haven. Hope and Haven, Sudan. They're a food kitchen. Ever since USAID was paused, more than 80% of food kitchens were shut down in Sudan. That worsened the famine. And there are currently more than 10 declared famines in Sudan. In one country, more than 10 declared famines. And the famines have been declared a year ago. So people are eating animal feed because they're desperate, and then they ran out of animal feed. And I saw videos where people were talking about eating the skin of human beings. Like it's actually insane to me that people in 2025 are having to like bury out or unbury dead bodies and eat their skin. Okay. So that's how desperate people have gotten. And so it's currently the worst, according to the United Nations, it is the worst humanitarian crisis in the world. And it's the largest and the worst G-side in the world as well. Right. So number one, donate to Hope and Haven, the food kitchen. Number two, yes, Russia and China are also funding it alongside America, and the UK. Number two, try to organize a protest. Try to protest, right? Number three, boycott. Boycott UAE products. Boycott any products that are associated with the UAE. If you go to the link tree in my bio, there is literally a list of companies that are participating in this G-side or somehow benefiting off of this G-side as well. That list is in the link tree in my bio. Yes, the UK has been found selling weapons as well. And one of those, what's called, is Huda Beauty, by the way. If you are into makeup, you love makeup, Huda Beauty actively has her headquarters in Dubai, right? Crazy. She knows the Emirates is committing this G-side. And she said that it was too expensive for her to move her headquarters or whatever BS, right? That she tried to say. So, it's really disgusting. And Russia is involved because they're selling drones as well, amongst other things, to the to the UAE, and it's giving it to the RSF. So I just wanted to say that keep Sudan and Congo literally in your players. Palestinians are also being G-sided, but there's a general awareness when it comes to the Palestinian G-side, and I do think we need to highlight what's happening in Sudan and Congo as well. So talk about it, post about it, repost videos to push it into the FYP. Donate.
They can't find your link tree in your bio. Is it in that bio?
It is, yeah. No, my link tree is in my bio. I'm pretty sure.
Check. Yeah. I'll go take a look. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, it's there. I'm not there. You guys, you have to go all the way to the profile, and then it's there.
Yeah, it's there. The link tree's in there. Yeah. And the title's gonna be UAE RSF companies. That's the list of companies. Uber is involved. If you use Uber, you're screwed because they're also participating. Nestle involved, Disney involved, Microsoft involved.
Wow.
Everything.
Edge.
Exactly. All these companies are involved. Raytheon is always at the scene of the freaking crime. Okay. So
Amazon, Google,
exactly. Toyota is also involved. Huda Beauty is also involved. Okay. I think Huda Beauty is not on that list. It needs to be
Why am
added.
I not shocked about Starbucks?
Exactly. BS on Blast. Thank you, Erica. BS on Blast is an amazing Sudanese creator. She has been posting updates on it for the past year. Okay. No, actually for more than 1,000 days. That's crazy. She's been posting about this for 1,000 days, right? So I don't even know. The videos I've watched, Santana, I literally watched like a mother and her 2 toddlers who are both younger than the age of 5 getting strange fruited. All 3 of them, including the toddlers. Okay. I saw videos of like literally the floor was just full of bodies. Like easily you could see there were like 500 bodies there. Like it was just like a whole like pile of like I have been watching like videos from inside of Gaza of what the ITF have been doing, right? So I'm not like a person who has not watched these types of videos before, unfortunately. But these videos that I'm seeing, like my mind cannot even begin to comprehend like how horrific it is. The stuff that people are going through, the amount of bodies that I have seen the past couple of days, more than 5,000 people in 48 hours. I cannot even comprehend the numbers, right? So I think it's our duty to be talking about Sudan, to donate, to boycott, to protest, and then also Congo, oh my gosh, Congolese people are also suffering. But so yeah, just want to say that. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. I try to mention it as much as possible everywhere I go. And if 694 people here, if you just actively posted this in your story or posted this on your page, even if it's to 2 followers, literally that would do so freaking much. Just wanted to say that. But thank you so much, Santana. I appreciate you. I'm gonna drop for now.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming up. I really appreciate you. Guys, that was heavy. That was heavy. That was devastating. That was heartbreaking. That was just such a sad thing to share. But at the same time, I'm so glad that we had the opportunity to share that. Right? I think there's not enough attention, focus. I've started seeing videos popping up, and I had to actually try to figure out what exactly was happening. And I'm really glad that Athena actually came here tonight and was able to share that. It was a lot. It was a lot, but it was a lot of needed information. It would be kind of weird and awkward just to get right back into the conversation after that. Not going to hold you. So how about just a quick moment? Is that okay, chat? Is it okay if we just take a quick moment? Are we good with that? Anybody else? Okay.
Sounds good to me.
This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to break something out special. This is just once in a while. I'm going to do it. Just because it makes me happy. And I just want to share a little bit of happiness with you guys.
Brunch with my creator, yeah. We're just having some fun. Relax, sharing the moments when the cameras are done. The real you, real love, no filter, no show. See at a table, let the world know. Brunch with my creator, can you see? Yeah. It's the human side of the screen. Grab a plate, take a sip, and let's unwind. Tell me what's really on your mind. Beyond the likes and the crazy trends, what's the story you don't post to your friends? No scripts, no filters, just you. What makes you laugh, what you've been through? The ups, the downs, the highs, the lows. We talk it all before the moment goes. No spotlight stress, just your real side. No highlight reel, just the truth inside. What's the dream you keep tucked away? What keeps you grounded at the end of the day? See, this ain't for the clout or the fame. It's for the soul behind the name. So come on in, let the people see the human like you and me. Brunch with my creator, yeah. We're just having some fun. Just relax, sharing the moments when the cameras are done. The real you, real love, no filter, no show. See at a table, let the world know. Brunch with my creator, can you see? Yeah. It's the human side of the screen. Yeah. We laugh about the comments, the wild DMs. Talk about the real when the screen goes dim. What keeps you strong when the pressure's high? How do you heal when the love runs dry? What's your why? What keeps you moving still? What's the joy the algorithm can't kill? The wins, the losses, the lessons learned, and the moments where your spirit burned. Then we open the floor, let the people say hi. They've been watching your journey, now they see why. It's more than content, it's connection too. And today's the day they meet the real you. Cause behind the post there's a beating heart. Behind the numbers there's a work of art. Brunch with my creator, that's the space. Mask off, let me see your face. Brunch with my creator, yeah. We're just having some fun. Just relax, sharing the moments when the cameras are done. The real you, real love, no filter, no show. Seat at a table, let the world know. Brunch with my creator, can you see? Yeah. It's the human side of the screen. Brunch with my creator, yeah.
Brunch with my creator, girl. All right, guys. Music is one of my favorite things. Like, seriously, whenever I need to refocus, I always use music. Whenever I'm down, I listen to music. Whenever I'm happy, I listen to music. Whenever I need energy, I listen to music. So, yeah. With that being said, guys, we are going to keep it rolling because I want us to be able to finish this topic out strong. And we have Kay up here. And you guys know Kay. You guys know Kay. You love Kay. But Kay is here to talk directly to the chat. And we are still talking about debate culture, but Kay is here to speak directly to the chat, about the chat, when they chat. Kay, the floor is yours.
Good evening, good morning for some. Yeah, I think actually what happened just now and how we, had the ability to take in some information that people might not know and the topic turned really heavy. It's kind of a good way to talk about something that I see a lot is that when creators are hosting a live and maybe they don't have the reach and they bring in somebody that might be a larger creator to be on their panel so that they can reach more people and their followers come in to see, that my creator is online, so I'm gonna go see what they're live on. And they come into a room and there is a heavy topic that's going on. I notice a lot of time they're looking to find that creator doing the thing that they do all the time that they watch. But if they're doing something a little bit different, they won't take the time to listen. They won't take the time to read the room. They spam in the chat, let this person talk, and they're not hearing the deeper message because that creator isn't the one that it's focused on. And I think that's really, really important that we be able to take time, especially when creators are mainly debate creators, that we take time out and really listen to what's being said because we will miss that information. I think people have such short attention spans that if they don't see exactly what they're looking for, they're just gone. But the information that we, just gathered and, and if people weren't aware of how severe things are in these situations, I saw a few people leave, but I see most of you are still here and I really appreciate that. And so when you're following your creators around, sometimes they're helping to promote somebody else's space. And it's for a good reason. It's for education. It's for bringing awareness. So that's just one thing. And I know that, sometimes Athena will have help like that, and she is getting out a very, very important message, or is, doing a fundraiser. And I really, it's important that we stick around and we listen, and we're not just looking for the sport of the back and forth arguments and things like that. And then the other thing I just want to address as a white woman, is in spaces that are mixed company, when a conversation starts happening, and honestly, we lost a guest tonight because it kind of happened. But please, if you share my palm coloredness, and there's a conversation that does not surround a topic that, one, you're familiar with, two, is any of your business, please stay out of it. It is not our place to comment in conversations that are being had by a community within each other, even in a mixed space. And that goes very much for if you are in a predominantly Black space and you are there to learn, sit there and learn, tap those likes, gift the panel when you can, gift the host, support them, but please do not start interjecting in the comments and saying things that, that don't involve you. This is a very important thing, and I think Santana cultivates a space that he has from day one wanted everyone to enjoy. He wants everyone to be able to be here. But sometimes the conversation goes into a Black community conversation. And you may see me type in the chat, this is a community conversation. My fellow white people, tap the screen, listen, learn. And that is a very important thing too, especially even in debates. Because if a debate is happening between a Black creator or a person of color, an Indigenous person, and they are talking to somebody that is in their community, that is a community conversation, and it is not to be had going forward with, people chirping in that, well, this person did this and this person did that. It's not for us. It's not for us. The same is true if, a conversation is going about the queer community. I'm part of the queer community. I always make sure that there's representation, but other than that, we let the people on the panel do what they do. So that's why sometimes when you see me in the chat and I'm telling you, be respectful, I'm not asking you to be respectful to, the Schnazis or the, white supremacists. You do all of that. But I am asking, to just keep it cordial so that, we don't have people do the dogpiling. And I think that's just, I'm going to land there for right now unless something else comes up. But I just think that those things are very important, especially from a modding perspective. It's really hard when, we know that these people panel hop. We know that they were in so-and-so's live, and we know they were in so-and-so's live. We can hear wildly enough, just like you guys can. We can hear if they're driving. We can hear if they're, slurring. We can hear, all of these things. So when you just start spamming in the chat, sometimes when the same word is said over and over and over again, the algo picks it up, and then the AI moderators come in first and can take that person's space down. So we just ask that, we can hear all the mods that are here. We can hear just what you're hearing. We can hear the road noise. We can hear all of that. We're taking care about it. So really appreciate all of you for being here. And I think Santana's chat's one of the best. So I guess I'm a little, little biased, checking my biases. Also, I absolutely love Smitty's chat, so just saying.
Yeah, I hear you. Thank you for that, Kay. Also, W's in the chat for Rachel. Rachel sent a $5 donation saying, thank you for what you do. Thank you for being here, Rachel, and thank you for adding to the nightly donation goal. Guys, that means we only have $235 left in nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. All the pay links and links are in the bio. Santana Speaks for You is the best way to support the live. Everything's accepted and things appreciated. If you're on YouTube, just like Stormy, W's in the chat for Stormy for the $2 super chat. You can support with a super chat. I appreciate you guys. All right. We have Eli on the panel. And Eli, I'm going to come to you first, but I want to start to wrap this around to a specific area, and I'm going to use you as the catalyst. First and foremost, Eli, honest opinion. Oh, you know what? No, screw that. Because I didn't get to talk to you about this topic. I know you were here the other day, and I really want to hear what you think about this. Eli, why in the world do certain people think that it is acceptable to debate other people's humanity?
I'm actually really glad that you asked that question because it's sort of exactly what I came up to.
I got more for you, so just FYI, I got some heavy lifting for you as well, but I had to get that one for you because I think that you were here in the other night, but I didn't get to get you up, but I knew I wanted to have you talk about it.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I kind of, my sleep pattern's been a little bit weird, and so I did take a break. So for everybody who has been reaching out, I do appreciate it. And I'm thank you. I'm trying to pop back in a little bit here and there. So I think we all know when coming from marginalized communities and living through the different types of oppression that we have, I think we know the answer to that question is there is no debating human rights. They just think that there is. And the problem is that people come up because there's this debate culture and there's always been debate in politics. And people are used to debating gas prices and certain things that you can have an opinion on. And now it's turned into, the most egregious type things. And it just seems that people will push farther and farther and farther to defend, and instead of treating, because there's this debate culture and debates are meant to have a concession on one side, or you come to a mutual agreement about something. Debates are meant to go back and forth, and one person ends up out disproving the other. And human rights aren't something to do that with. But I noticed that with debates in general, that's often not how they're going. They're just an opportunity for a lot of people to get up, yell their talking points, and then go away. But I fear that the impact of hearing people debating human rights so much is having a significant toll on people at the individual level, just hearing it all the time. And taking a step back, as a host, sorry if you could hear my ice maker, but taking a step back as a host, you had me tearing up, man. You turned around and took care of your community. You held the space for the thing that really needed to be spoken about, and then turned around and then took care of the community. It's easy for us to get stuck behind the screen sometimes, and a lot of people don't turn their camera on, and that's fine. But we're typing and we're still in this virtual mode, which is cool because I got to meet all of you. But when we don't have that in-person interaction, sometimes that we get lost there. And when you do something like that, every single person that would like needed that in that moment gets to have that kind of human. It's like very humanizing, and it's taking care of the community in a very healthy way. And I wanted to highlight that because that's the healing bit of all this, like going back and forth about human rights stuff. That's how we respond to it. We have to turn to each other and take care of each other and remember that, like, you don't have to show up and overexhaust yourself. You just like make sure that you remember that we're all human beings at the end of the day. And there's no debating human rights.
Yes. I completely agree. And you and I, you know how we're locked in. It's the strangest thing to me, and it's always the people who tend to be the least impacted, who always want to do it, and it's weird. It's weird. I don't get it. But Eli, so I'm going to start with you, and I'm going to have you do a little bit of heavy lifting. How do we fix debate culture? Because Athena was up here earlier, and she talked about burning it down. In certain aspects, I agree. But one, I like debating selfishly. I do. I enjoy it. That's why I do late nights and I do sparring. I love both of them, right? I love the panel discussion. I love the ability to exchange ideas. I love the actual growth and knowledge that we share with late nights. But then I love the actual back and forth exchange and the actual verbal jousting of sparring. So how do we fix debate culture? Because I know I'm not doing it right? Because there's oftentimes where I have some of the best debates that are calm and cool and collected. And then there's times that I'm calling people slap nuts and, playing the music and all this other stuff. So how do we fix it so it's used for what I think it should be, which is causing critical thinking and then shifting the Overton window back to normality versus like whatever paradox we're living in now?
Yeah. Okay. I have actually been thinking about this a lot lately because while I agree, the idea of just burn it down does sound kind of nice sometimes. I think right now that every form of political activism awareness that we have, I think we need to be exhausting every resource, and debate happens to be one of those things because it's something that a lot of people get glued to because they do get, obsessed with the same thing. They enjoy the back and forth. They get to see other people representing them. Sometimes that feels nice. And then I like the fact that by nature, that is going to increase the chances of people learning. And it gives people a way to keep up with what's going on too. So I don't think debates are pointless or useless. But my personal opinion is that people like to come up because people are saying the most egregious, disgusting, gross stuff. And they're saying it under some Trump 2028, username
my behind.
with some like weird, like CK, like profile picture. And then they have 0 followers. And like, so they get to just come up, maybe slur a few times and say all the whatever they want and leave. And one of the things that I think, I've been like, I'll at people randomly and I'll just say cam on, like just turn your camera on. I think that people should be required to show their face, or like I don't think that I need to know their name because I feel like I'm not encouraging doxing. But if you're gonna say it, you should at least be saying it with your face. Because I'll tell you, I definitely, if you're going to say it, it's on the internet forever. This is a public platform. And now I have, probably recorded you saying it. I'm not going to forget. I refuse to forget, because that's what we keep failing at every time. We failed at it after World War II. We failed at it after the Civil Rights Movement. We can't let them walk away without accountability properly this time. And so that's part of it to me. So I think if people had to face saying it with their chest a little bit more than they would, I think we would get some more genuine debates.
Listen. I say this all the time. That, like, Eli, I don't know if you've seen this lately because you've been kind of out of pocket, but that's my new thing. I tell people, like, you can say the most egregious sugar honey I see that you want, but turn your camera on. Turn your camera on and then say it. Like, I completely agree with you. And because they hide behind that veil, they hide behind, a fake PFP and a fake name. And they say and they hold the most extreme views. And that's because they're afraid to say it in public, and they're afraid to say it out loud. And I do think that if we somehow stripped away the mask and said that if you're going to debate this point, if you're going to say these things, then say it with your chest.
Can I say one more thing? Because you just said something, and sorry, epiphany moment, but like, I don't even know why it's an epiphany. And maybe I'm embarrassed about that because it should be obvious. These people that are hiding behind these profiles are the same ones walking around with masks over their faces.
Yep.
Okay. So like, It's a mask online. If we can get them to remove their virtual mask, it's the same people those are the masks that we want removed out in pro. So like, it just didn't really dawn. Like, I know that it's important, but it's like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like by doing that, we could have just a really big, positive movement forward with our like resistance.
Yep. I completely agree. Thank you for that. Real quick, Debbie's in the chat for Alexia. Alexia sent a $20 donation saying for our goal. I know that's right. Thank you so much. Debbie's in the chat for Alexia, guys. And also, let me get here. Debbie's in the chat for Scott, who just grabbed a membership over on the YouTubes. Debbie's in the chat for Scott as well, guys. That means we only have $215 left in the nightly donation goal. We got 606 people hanging out. We can definitely knock that out. If 215 people send $1, we can close out our nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links and links are in the bio. Santana speaks for you. Best way to support the live. Everything is accepted. Anything's appreciated. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat and I will read that out. Schmitty, we can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. How do we fix it?
This is a great question, and I'm just gonna give you my perspective, and then I do got to drop. But I appreciate you pulling me up, man.
Absolutely.
On short notice with me coming in. I appreciate you, fam.
I appreciate you being up here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think that how we fix it, and I think we have a tendency to point the finger at the other side and say, this is what's wrong with the other side. This is what's wrong with the other side. But in reality, I like what Eli said about a community. And we start building a community when we protect the most marginalized. One of the things I've noticed about my 2.5 or so year journey on TikTok is the incredible amount of disrespect that Black women and women of color get on this app. And if we are not uplifting them ourselves, why would we expect anybody else to do it, right? And so we start by protecting the most marginalized of us. We need to do it, right? And it's the same thing. It's my same criticism of the Democratic Party, where why isn't it that the top 3 candidates for president for 2028 aren't Jasmine Crockett, right? Cori Bush, AOC, right? Why aren't they being talked about as the top candidates? It's always somebody else. And so we can get comfortable pointing the finger at other groups when in reality, we are not doing enough ourselves. And when you talk about, I love what Kay had to say about, treating people right, and treating people with respect. And again, we just don't do a good enough job of it because sometimes, again, we're pointing out all of the faults in others, right? And we're not taking care of business ourselves. And when we talk about human rights and debating human rights, again, it goes to that main point because even some of us, right? Some of us gain proximity to other groups, unfortunately, in order to make ourselves feel better. That's the reality. And it's some of us that do that, right? That's the reality. And so that needs to be called out, because sometimes the most problematic people, I'm going to speak from a Black perspective, right, is the white T woman that has the Black husband, is the white T man that has the Black wife. They can oftentimes be the most problematic because they feel that their proximity allows them to say certain things that others don't. And so I want us to not only point the finger, right, again, and call out the right and call out what they do, but we also have some folks within the house that we have to call out. Like, for instance, the last thing I'm going to say, right, Santana, I think you're going to love this analogy, okay? Mm-hmm. I feel like Athena is the April Reese or the Lamar Jackson of TikTok. How you feel about April Reese or Lamar Jackson dictates how I feel about you.
I know that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
No, that's right.
Right. The minute
listen. No lie. My wife and I were sitting and we were talking, and I told Athena we were talking about her, and like I've said this online and I've said this offline. I said like if I'm standing on the opposite side of Athena, then I'm on the wrong side every single time. Like if I'm if I'm in opposition of whatever she's advocating for, doing, or what, I am on the wrong side. So you nailed that one, Smitty.
Absolutely. My bad. Angel Reese or Lamar Jackson. I mean, and again, it's right. It's very obvious when people throw shade at them and why they throw shade. But again, it dictates how I feel about you if you're going to throw shade at her. I already know you know. And so I think this is where we need to go to. And I think you did a great job, man. You always do a great job of making sure that she gets her appropriate time and all folks get appropriate time. But we got to do a better job. Again, before we go out and look at others and other groups, we got to do a better job of protecting the folks that really, really do all of the most important things behind the scene to help our platforms and to elevate, our group. So I just want to end with that. Yeah, that's it, man. I really appreciate you. Thank you for having me up, brother.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you coming up and dropping nukes and then rolling out like that. I appreciate you.
Oh, I had to, man. I had to. I get inspired when I come up here, and I appreciate all the love from the chat. And but it's important. It's important. Again, I love what everybody had to say. But if we want to build community, it's got to start with us.
Absolutely, absolutely. I appreciate you, my brother.
All right, bro.
All right, have a good one. I'm gonna read this off, and I just want to make sure that everyone knows I am only the messenger. I am only reading. I am only reading. These are not my words. I am not throwing shade. W's in the chat for Joanna for adding $5 to the nightly donation goal, saying for me to drink some water and say something kind about myself. I don't know what that means, but apparently she wants me to drink some water and say something kind about myself. W's in the chat for Joanna, guys. That means that we now only have $210 left in the nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links and the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks for You is the best way to support the live. Everything is accepted. Stop it, Erica. Everything's accepted. Anything's appreciated. If you're over on YouTube, you can send you can send a super chat and I will read that out. Jeez Louise, you guys are holy smokes. Brenda. How do we make a shift towards using debate culture as a positive?
I think it starts by engaging with people that are actually genuine in, like, whether they want to learn or, that sort of thing, and not just, debating anyone that comes up to, do whatever because they want to make, hopefully get clout or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
because otherwise it's, I know that sometimes I've heard on yours, like some of the people that come up, I'm like, well, I wouldn't be engaging with them. And I understand that it's to maybe educate people in the chat or something like that. That's, that may be listening to think, oh, I never really thought of it that way. But I think the issue is to allow for the person that's actually up there, like getting followers from people that either automatically disagree with them or whatever and aren't, there in good faith. That's kind of what I've noticed.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the one thing that I'll take from that as well is saying like I think we have a responsibility to be good stewards of our time and our resources. And while time is our greatest resource, I always say this, like I appreciate whenever people come in and they actually, they donate, right? They send to I appreciate donations, but I appreciate people coming and just showing up, tapping the screen, sharing the live. If you can give, fine. If not, commenting, just being here, right? That means so much to me. And I've said this a million times before. Every single time I go live, I don't expect anyone to show up. And when people start to show up, like it always surprises me. I mean this, and like every time before I used to tell my wife, I'm like, hey, do you think anyone's gonna watch my live? Before every live. Like I recently just stopped doing that, but I still get like butterflies thinking like, hey, I wonder if anybody's gonna watch, if anybody's gonna be here, if anybody's gonna engage. But I think it's our responsibility to make sure that we understand as a collective, we do control debate culture. That's why I put so much attention on the chat and focus on the chat. So it's not just about, make sure that you are, being respectful or whatever, but like if we get to a point where we realize that someone is either disingenuous or harmful or whatever the case may be, like you don't have to, go on Reddit and all this other crap. Just stop frequenting their space. Stop engaging with that person. Be better stewards of your time. And I think that's the responsibility that all of us have. If we see that someone is no longer good stewards, whether that be they are disingenuous or whether they keep platforming harmful people or whatever the case may be, then we have to stop giving them the oxygen to thrive within debate culture. I think that's what I just pulled from what you said, Brenda, and I completely agree.
Yeah. Well, and also, I'm a white woman in the Kansas City Metro, so on the Kansas side, but I proudly have on my back, the back of my car. And of course, I'm still deconstructing stuff that, Athena talked about earlier. But I have one bumper sticker that says, canonize John Brown. And then on the other side, it says, I do not argue with people that John Brown would have unalived. So
that's right. No, that's right.
And I go into Missouri, not every day, but I mean, I don't know what they can see when they can't see early in the morning, but hey, if that makes you think, because I'm driving, past you, yep, I'll go about my day, you go about yours, and maybe you'll think about it.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, and I also
Brenda,
have a Palestine Resist watermelon.
Yeah. Well, Brenda, thank you so much for coming up and hanging out with us.
Yes,
tonight.
thank you for having me. Absolutely. I do appreciate it. You take care and be safe. Nice to meet you all. Take care as well.
Thank you. Corey, how do we fix debate culture? Because unless you just want to completely get rid of it, like I think we can fix it, but how?
I mean, yeah, like getting rid of it. I mean, that does sound good, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's just really about making sure everybody's out here putting out the truth and just keeping it real with everyone. Like, and I'll say this because like I really like respect what you got going on in this community. You got like I especially like listening to Black creators because I can relate a lot more to when I listen to you guys and stuff like that. And I like how you keep it real and y'all don't let people like sit in here and just, push out hateful words. Like I would never sit here and as a man try to debate about a woman getting an abortion or anything like that. It's just crazy to me that people just, don't mind their business.
Yeah, I think that if I'm gonna keep it funky with you, I think people get comfortable. Like too many people. Corey, this is just me and you right now, right?
Yeah.
Too many people are too comfortable not getting punched in the mouth. I swear that's what it is. I swear that's what it is. There's too many people too comfortable not getting punched in the mouth.
Yeah, and listen, man, like, because I live in Springfield, Ohio, and it's always funny to me when I see people that are like actually walk up to me and think that they could like just like talk about like the Haitian community and stuff like that, and like, man, like I'll just look at you, I'll look you dead in your face and just shake my head and walk away, like just go ahead and get up out my face with that.
Yeah. But something you said, and I appreciate that you said it because like I think representation is super important. And me being someone who I call myself to be, pretty eclectic, right? Whether it's with my music or like TV shows or like these TikTok spaces that I share. And I do think that like there needs to be I'm hoping there's a reckoning when it comes to like Black spaces, and some of these other Black creators get the much needed attention that like they deserve. There's a bunch of really great Black and brown, like non-white creators who are doing so much, and not to knock, the white creators who are putting in the work, right? Because they do it as well. But there's so many other people out there who have amazing platforms. That's why like I spend my time. You can tell who I really value because I spend my time in those spaces and I pop up on their panels. And there's a lot of people who don't get a lot of shine, and I really love spending time in their spaces because I hope it draws more eyes and attention to it. And to your point, Corey, like I love sitting in Black spaces and learning and growing and having community. So I'm hoping that a lot more people get a lot more attention because I think it is deserved. Anyway.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, man.
Anyway, Corey, thank you for coming up and hanging out with us tonight.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
April, I know that you didn't get like a ton of opportunity to talk, and I'm going to give you the floor in as much time as you want to take because I saw some of your ideas that you just had in the chat, and you were on fire. So I need you to share with the class. Tell the people, how do we fix this? It's your responsibility, April, solely on you. And whatever you say, I'm gonna take it back to TikTok, and I'm gonna say this is how everything goes forward. So hey.
That's weird, but all right, I guess. You were asking the question of how do we make debate culture on TikTok better? Like how
do we fix debate culture
to make it better? Yeah. And I don't understand how this would impact creators, and I wouldn't want it to impact creators negatively, like by losing followers or whatever. Mm-hmm. But do you know how, like, for example, in this room right now, behind your head, you have a screen up and it has the topics of discussion and it has like general information about what this room is about. And then there's other creators, when you go into their space, they have words printed behind them that say, you know, request to be up if you meet these criteria. What if part of that criteria just eliminated the ability for bad actors to step up and say the stupid things they say by limiting the allowable topics, right? Like the things that we all agree are not up for discussion. Why are they up for discussion then? Why can't we just say, in this space, we want to debate, but we don't want to debate a woman's right to choose. We don't want to debate the right of trans people. We don't want to debate the right of people of color or whatever it is. Like,
You want me to
these
tell
things
you
are
why?
common. So if you have something else to talk about, can we do that? Like,
You want me to tell you why, April?
sure.
They don't care. They do not
They'll do it
respect
anyway.
boundaries. Oh my God. Let me tell you, I you know how many times I'm having a debate and April, I go through all the, look at the background, right?
Yeah.
That's my logo. And for anyone that doesn't know, this is my actual logo, like a logo for me. If you see this, the symbol in the tiger, right? That's my fraternity symbol. This is my actual logo, right? And every single live, I develop a background. I have to. Let me show you something, April. Let me show you something. Hold on.
I mean, so then like,
Hold on, because I got to show you this now. Because now I'm on my soapbox, right? Hold on. Let me turn this off real quick. One second, sorry. Okay. You see this?
yeah.
This is the prep work that I put into this topic for this week. All this is this is the information on the 4 bullet points that I have on the background, right? And so when I do that, I don't just do that just for late nights, right? I do it for my debates for sparring as well. In April, when I tell you they don't care, they don't care about what's on the background. They're going to get up here and they're going to get into spaces and they're going to talk about whatever they want to talk about, regardless of what it says on the background, regardless if I tell them, I don't want to debate this. I refuse to let you debate that. It's so frustrating. They do not care at all. I'm sorry. It's the wildest thing. It drives me crazy.
I've seen it happen enough that I agree. I guess I was thinking that then, you know, like I've watched all of these 3 nights of this topic because I find it really interesting. There's sort of like that triad dynamic between the host, the guest, and the chat, right? And the host can only say what they want in their space and people are not going to follow it. So then the host can kick them, right? And I've been trying to figure out how can the chat back up the host, but not in a way that is like just name calling. And again, I will admit I have absolutely done that in some chats before because people are saying a ridiculous thing and there's some things that are just absolutely not debatable. And I'm, you know, like, tired of being quiet about it. So I will say, like, I'll talk smack in the chat. I will. But not in spaces where that's not welcome, right? Like there's still a boundary there. But I've been trying to figure out like that third piece, like how this whole discussion is about how debate culture on TikTok, the pros and cons of it. And like, how do we move more in a direction of having more pros than cons and like progress, not perfection, like all those cliched statements, but like what are actionable steps that we could take that could make that better for everyone. And I've been trying to figure out how do you piece, because the chat is such a big component, but they don't have control in the same way that the creator does or the guest. Their voices are not audible. They're typed, and in a lot of chats it flies by so fast it's not like you can see everything. The host can't always read I've been trying to puzzle that together. Like, how do we do that? And if like what you said, and it is true, but I wish that there were a couple creators that would just not debate certain things by simply kicking people. Like the minute they open their mouth about it, just kick them. Like we've had that same conversation hundreds of times at this point, and there's no new way, like, and especially when people come up and they say something like, I've been listening to you for a while, but I think blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, so you've been listening for a while. That probably means that you've heard this debated before. Why do you need to repeat something that somebody else has already said, echoed like 1,000 times at this point? So like, I would like to be helpful if I'm going to participate as a person in chat in debate spaces. This is the first time I've ever spoken on TikTok. I'm kind of nervous, but like I'm chilling out.
You're freaking killing it. I almost said that. You're freaking killing it.
How can we help? Like I would like to help, but I am also like not here every day. I'm a mom. I've got a bunch of stuff to do. Like my partner is about to have spinal surgery. Like there's a lot going on in my life, and TikTok is something that is casual for me. It is something that I show up for sometimes, but not daily. But when I am available and I have the spoons, as a participant, how can I help? And like, what does that relationship between the host, the guest, and the chat, like there's gotta be a piece in there that is, I guess the moderators fill that hole. I don't know.
I mean, that's for me, that's exactly what it is, because, I say it all the time. I got some of the best mods in the game, and they literally step up, and they're my eyes and ears when, I'm not available, and they bounce back and forth. They drop me information. Like that's an important part. And that's why I always tell people like, hey, it's super important to respect the mods. Like my mods are an extension of me. And if you can't respect my mods, then you definitely don't respect me. And if you can't respect my mods, then you can't be in my space. They're like, people don't understand. One, how difficult it is to host lives. And like I've hosted lives where I've only had a couple of people, and I've hosted lives where I've had thousands of people. And like it's a lot. But there's no way in the world I could do it without my mods. And so they are that gap that bridges like the chat and the creator when like the creator can't engage directly with the chat. They're super important. So I think that's exactly right. And so again, and for me, it's just making sure that, we respect them and we try to follow whatever, because I see some people in the, like, it's weird when I see like normal, but not normal, but like, I'll say normal people, meaning like they're always in the live, right? They're always here. And then I see them get into it with one of my mods, and I'm like, what are we doing? Like I don't understand that, because at the very least, if you're here all the time, like you should know, like we don't play that. So yes, I think the mods are the connective tissue, and I think like that's how we bridge the gap. And I appreciate them so much.
Yeah. I don't know, like that was super, helpful in any way. I think it
was. And it was definitely more so of like, how do we bolster the people around us? And I think that's exactly what it is. So I appreciate you for that, April, and I couldn't agree more. So I appreciate that.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Thank you for coming up and spending some time with us. And you have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
Oh, I'm not leaving. I just felt like it's probably somebody else's turn.
No, I'm dropping you down.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Good night.
Thank you. Have a good one. Guys, W's in the chat for Brenda. Brenda added a $10 donation towards the nightly donation goal and put a fist, as she always does. W's in the chat for Kimberly. Kimberly sent a $10 donation towards the nightly donation goal, saying thank you to you and Athena for helping me recognize and continue to work on the deconstruction of all my isms. I appreciate this space And I appreciate this for space for his honesty and knowledge. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, really quick, because I saw W's in the chat for Fallen over on the YouTube, who sent a $10 YouTube super chat to say, autonomy versus accountability. People want to debate like they're in the early thousands. COD lobby, Call of Duty, COD lobby, or what they or want to treat real topics like Trump and his actions as if they're superficial debates like Superman versus Goku. Exactly. I don't understand why they do that. Like it's weird, and like this is real life. So there's that. Also, Goku mocks Superman. W's in the chat for following as well, who sent a $5 super chat to say, how many times in your life have you read the syllabus and you expect MAGA to do it? I didn't know it's serious times, but let me think. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I can't remember the time that I read the syllabus, and I know for a fact that MAGA is not. So, Melinda, coming back to you.
Yes.
How do we save debate culture? Because
More like a kind of like a rule where like if you aren't gonna want to debate topics, to be respectful and
they feel like they can do it behind some type of veil of being private, or whatever the case may be. So I think we have to sniff them out and be able to call them out directly. So
Yeah.
anywho,
really
thank you so much for coming up and hanging out with us. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it as well. And I really liked Eli's idea about having them at least have their camera on, because I think hopefully that could solve a lot of things too. So, but yeah, I really appreciate you guys having me up, and have a great rest of your night.
Absolutely. Thank you. YouTube, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened just now. I apologize. We're back though. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're back though. W's in the chat for you guys. W's in the chat for you guys. Also, W's in the chat for Gene, who just added $1 towards the nightly donation goal and said, thank you guys for having me earlier. You're by far and always will be my favorite creator, entertaining, and smart, genuine, and care about people. Listen, I don't know about any of the other stuff. All I do know is that I'm funny. Eli, how do we fix all of this? Because it's kind of screwed.
I had another thought earlier when April was speaking about, making certain topics off limits. And so, like, I actually have, like, a conflicted thought process behind that. I think that there's a really fine but very, like, important, like, line between limiting the conversation and also not, like, that topic not getting spoken about as a result of it just not being allowed in that debate. And I'm going to give, like, it's anecdotal, but coming from, like, within, I'm not saying that myself and the individuals that are also trans that I'm mutuals with or friends with represent everyone. However, I do get, because of, like, my the type of followers that I get to be mutuals with and learn, like, their life stories, because everybody kind of like will open up to me, and I get to some stories and I read them, and it's amazing. I think that the issue is that, like, for the trans community, the feedback that I'm getting lately is that people are afraid of not being talked about. People are afraid that, like, so because so say somebody comes up and they spew a bunch of misinformation, they rattle off, like, certain things, and then we say, we can't talk about that. And then that misinformation just gets to be up there, and the person gets dismissed, and then nothing was done to combat the negative information that was given. Or if that there was a degree of information given, what I find is that sometimes the person is speaking about something from a perspective and they're not within that marginalized community, or they're, like, not a trans person, and so they'll say something and it's, like, close or not quite. And so that boils back down to that representation. And so it's hard sitting in the comments, and especially gigantic lives where there's, like, 15,000 people, and hearing, we can't talk about that after all the things that were just said are, like, literally the things that are directly putting, particularly Black trans women, but trans women specifically, in such danger right now, and trans people as a whole. I just like to emphasize that women are in danger right now, and trans people as a whole. I just like to emphasize that women are in danger. And my reason I say it is, I was trying, like, okay, that's a fucking problem. So how do sorry about the F word. I know I'm sorry about that. I was in the military for 13 years, so I do apologize. I know better. But okay, so I was trying to think of, like, solutions, and
I'm just gonna tell my mom to call you. Like, have her
Yep.
deal with you guys.
I'm
not
sorry,
me.
Mama. So, one of the solutions that I thought of, and I'll have to keep brainstorming about this, but I thought, like, what if there was a way to constructively shut it down so that the information, like, I thought, like, the only reason why you're even bringing like trans people up is because they've been politicized, not because they're a political talking point. They're human beings. Or the only reason why undocumented migrants are being brought up, like, so the same thing. And making sure that we address the intersectionality bit, because you could have the same kind of like response and just kind of switch it to whatever that particular topic was just a bit, but shut it down in a way that reminds people that we aren't the enemy and we aren't dangerous and we're the ones that are in danger, and that can apply to all marginalized communities impacted right now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you know what I try to make sure that I do, because you know, people love to try to get that hateful talking point off, right? And I always like to say, you know, I start with the facts, right? You know, what percent of the population is transgender people, right? And they never know the answer. You know, Eli, you know, I had someone tell me the other day it's 30% of the population.
Sorry, I don't know where my mic went for a second.
30%. Holy smokes. And I was like, okay, cool. But then, you know, once I break that down, and then I break down, like, you know, a couple of different facts, right? The fact that Donald Trump spent $215 million on disinformation around transgender people. And then I take it to like the human level, like, hey, how many transgender people do you know in your life? And then again, I had a guy try to tell me the other day, well, I know 2. I said, less than 1% of the population, and you're hateful AWS coming up here spewing transgender misinformation, and you're going to tell me that you know 2 transgender people. Stop it. And then he was like, well, you know, I work with them. I was like, oh, okay. How much of a conversation have you had with them? Like, oh, you know, I said hi to them. Okay, so you don't actually know them. You know of them. You don't know them. But then, like, the point that I always get back to is, like, you're demonizing such a small percentage of the population because you don't actually know transgender people. And that's why you feel so comfortable in doing that. So I never go to, you know, even trying to allow them to get off any of their hateful talking points. I break it down to the fact is, 1, you're targeting a marginalized group. 2, you've been propagandized into targeting the marginalized group. And 3, you don't even know these people. So why in the blue moon are you so afraid? It's weird for you to actually obsess over these people. And like, I completely agree with you. And I think, you know, shutting down that, and I've tried to do better as far as like shutting down talking points for communities that I don't belong to. But at the very least, if there's going to be a conversation, trying to get representation from those communities.
Yeah, no, and I think, but the other
So
part,
I think that's something.
Yeah, no, I do. I agree. Am I lagging? Because it's either me or you on my end. Like, one of us is lagging.
I'm sure it's me. My internet's acting a little funny over here.
Okay. I just wanted to say there's like one other solution, and then I was gonna ask if I could. It kind of was something that when Kay was speaking, she kind of made me think about, and it's kind of a request of the community, but not like a mutual aid or anything like that. I just wanted to say that the other solution I thought that could also be a thing is something that you kind of already do. You don't just hold debate spaces, you also hold conversation spaces, because the debate around it needs to stop. The conversation around it needs to increase. And that applies to abortion, that applies to like what's going on in Sudan, what's going on in the Congo, like with that, you know what I mean? And so I think what you're doing is good. And there's a lot of creators that will say this isn't a debate space, this is for conversations. Oh, go ahead.
Can I read this off to you real quick?
Yeah, for sure, of course.
So again, in my whole list of things, I always write like the different, you know, I write like an opening and, you know, what I'm looking to have as far as conversation. And then I I break down each bullet point and I list multiple things. But at the end, every time I write goal of the topic. And this is my goal of this topic for this week. 1, address harmful nature of current debate culture and how we can shift that. 2, hear the voices of those being used as debate topics and not being seen as people. 3, talk about dealing with people that won't actually engage in good faith and how we should handle that. And 4, find out what others enjoy what others enjoy debates and what they would rather see moving forward, since it seems like people are not enjoying what it's become. So I say all that to say the going from like debates to conversations is what we have to do. And that's what I was hoping that we got to throughout this entire conversation. You just nailed it. Like shifting towards conversations.
Yeah, definitely. And we also have to embrace and accept that not everybody is cut out for that. And not everybody's not only are they not cut out for it, there's a very egregious reason why they don't want to be. They just want to keep saying the hateful stuff because they don't want to change their mind. I wanted to say this is my last thing. Kay, I'm going to use something that you've done that positively impacted me that I really never shared as a way to kind of speak about this. A lot of us creators do get pulled in different directions. Like I used to host a lot. I am considering starting to host again in the future. But I primarily hop on panels. People send me lots of lives. Sometimes I see them, sometimes I'm awake. If I see it and I'm awake, I'm gonna tap in and listen for a few minutes to see what's going on. There are some creators where I don't care. I just pop up and I'm like, what is it? What's going on? But in certain platforms that are like smaller panels, when I get a DM from like Kay, for instance, and I'm not saying that everybody does this, and if you have done this, I'm not trying to talk in any kind of just like talking down to you or anything, just constructively remaining mindful that when we are having these spaces representing the marginalized communities we belong to, we are fighting against like our oppressor face to face. And we're usually surrounded by a bunch of our oppressors in the comments. It's really heavy. We're in a spotlight and we do it voluntarily because we want to. It's still, we're human beings. So when I get a request to join in Santana's live, for instance, Kay will say, share the live with me and say, hey, we have this topic if you have like the mental bandwidth or you have the space. And it's a very, very, very tiny thing, but it feels so nice compared to a message that says, trans topic, we need you, or you're needed here, or we need you in this space. And it's like, I know that it's not that deep probably when it's being said. But when it happens a lot, it ends up being like, I'm one person, but I'm not like, just like, AI. I can't just like, I have all the emotions and feelings that I have to like, handle. And so I put that boundary on myself. I can limit that, but it is something that, being courteous and mindful of other creators, if you are sending like things, lives to people, just to be mindful of. And then also please don't send somebody who is in a marginalized community, because this has happened to me too many times. Please do not send somebody from a marginalized community into a tank of their oppressors, or maybe something is really harmful on the background. Like don't put them directly in harm's way, especially if you have not completely expressed the type of environment that they're about to walk into. We wouldn't do that in real life. You wouldn't ask a trans person to walk into a room full of TERFs on purpose and ask them to go debate their existence. Please don't do that to a community that you don't belong to. Please make sure that if you are wanting them in that space, that they know that they're about to enter a very heavy, maybe triggering space, and make sure that you don't leave them. Don't just send them places and then not have their back, because that's not how we maintain a good community, and that's not looking out for each other. So please just be mindful. If you want them to be in that space and you don't even want to be in that space, maybe don't send the person of the marginalized community that they're talking about to that space. And that was just a simple little request. I'd appreciate you for letting me get that out.
And I'm gonna add a little cherry on top. If you see someone on another person's panel or hosting their own live, don't go into that live and try to say, "Hey, this person needs you," or "This person wants you." Don't do that. That's weird too. Just FYI. Anyway, Eli, thank you so much for coming up and hanging out tonight. I really appreciate you. Eli, thank you so much. Oh no. Well, you know, as soon as I saw you, I was gonna try to get you up here.
Yeah, it felt nice being back around all of you. But I really do, like, sometimes I'm not gonna respond to all the hellos, especially like if somebody's talking. I want to be invested in what they have to say. So if I don't ever say hi to you or something in the comments, just know I love you, and it's not ever going to be like personal. But I am happy to be back around all of you. You're just a great community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you, Eli, and I love you so much. Have a good one. All right, guys, for Chipman, who sent $1 towards the nightly donation goal, saying, thank you for having me up a couple of days ago. I love the conversation and hearing the people's point of view. Absolutely. Debbie's in the chat for, I think it's pronounced Amares, who sent a $20 donation towards the nightly donation goal. And Debbie's in the chat for Fallen. Fallen said that sent a $2 super chat to say Spirit Bomb got us back on the tube. It had to be the Spirit Bomb. It had to be the Spirit Bomb. But then also followed up with a $3 super chat that said, tell Eli they're the real Namekian, 100%. Listen, I fancy myself to be Piccolo. W's in the chat for all the wonderful gifters. I appreciate each and every one of you. K, fix it, K. Mm-hmm. 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 You know I do. Right. Mm-hmm.
How about now?
How about now? What about now?
No, I guess it's just they can only hear you.
You're stuck right now. Oh. Wait, you guys can't hear K?
All right. Sorry about that. So what I was saying is I'm conflicted because they said they can't.
Oh wait, you can hear it? Okay.
Yeah, you're like back in time. Yeah, you're back in time.
Don't tell them what you said about them.
No, stop it. I'm conflicted because I know that you like to debate.
I won't tell them how bad you were talking about them.
This delay is gonna kill me. Unalive me. Y'all have no idea where he just went. I think we might have ended. His Wi-Fi was acting up. If he doesn't come back, I hope you all have a wonderful night. And I think Santana is broken. Oh.
No, I'm
scared.
I've been here the whole time.
So is the chat back?
I'm here. Are you here?
Okay, I'm here. All right. So I'm just conflicted in the fact that, one, I would like people who watch debates to be mindful that creators are individuals. They are people. They are not all your friends unless they really are your friends. And you shouldn't, be telling them what they need to do, how they need to treat their guest, how they need to do that. Let them run their space. If you don't like it, move on to a different live for a while. Come back and see if you like it later. And then also, I'd like to say this. If you're in the chat and there's someone that is harmful and they're debating human rights, and you think that, like, you're like, where's this person, like, bring this person, and they get flooded from people in the chat, just know that in most spaces the mods have resources, and we also try to send messages so that we are kind. And, like, it's important for me, like, I don't want Eli in this space if he's not, able to be here. And I don't want him having to labor, just like I don't want to, have to ask, Sean to come in and labor. She doesn't need that if that's not the time or place. So I think this week has taught us a lot about how we can communicate better, how we can remember that creators are taking time out, usually from, full-time jobs, and do this. This isn't just their full-time job. I know that there are a few that this is their full-time job, but some people are doing this just, to build community, to have conversations, to debate, and, they're not your puppets. They're not there for you to, tell what to do or how to run their space. If you don't like it, just like Santana said, like, find someone you do like.
Yep.
Well, and with that.
Got it, Kay.
Okay, good.
It's one time. Little gnat that been flying around here that I'm sorry. But I agree.
And I think like making sure that you realize that every space you go into, even if there's crossover from panelists or hosts or chat members or, there's mods that mod in other places, I'm a physician and I don't have time for like multiple platforms, but each space has its own criteria. The mods that mod in this space, if they go to another space and they mod, they're going over those creators' rules. So it's super important that each person is treated like an individual. Mm-hmm. So please, I beg you to treat them as such respectfully. They're not one big conglomerate. Some of them may be friends off the app, some of them may not, but please be respectful of your creators and the space that you're in. I know that we all kind of mingle, but they are individual people. And just because they share time or space together doesn't mean, you can come into someone else's live and say, oh, was this person live today? Or did this person not go live? Or they have been there live? Like, we're not their keepers. Like, we're not here to, like, secretary for them. So, be in the space, be present, engage, all that good stuff. And I love our community.
Yep, I do too. We got a few knuckleheads, but for the most part, they get it. That's the important part. Well, good morning,
Play the
V.
song.
Play the song?
Well, play the song and,
Oh, I got it. Don't worry. I got it.
And everyone.
We're in the middle of a hostile government take.
Wait, not that one?
No, that's a great one. You can play that before the outro. That's fine. I love that one. We're in the
middle of a hostile government takeover. I want to talk about it, but I'll be late for work. And if you say, wait a minute, do we have to stop?
All right, that's enough. We got to go. We're way over time. I
Good
do
night.
not have time for your shenanigans tonight, Kay. W's in the chat for Kay. Guys, it was a good week. If you love the hat, this is a Hector special. This came from Hector. He's not here right now. I thought he might have been here. He has it in his link tree in his bio now. You can actually get this Hector Talk. All right. It was a really good week. It was a really good week. I really appreciate all you guys hanging out. This was a fun topic. I think it was a fun topic, and it was a really important topic because I've seen the toll that debate culture is taking on a lot of my friends who do this day in and day out. It's becoming taxing, and not just from like the stupidity of the people that we debate, but just the gravity of what's happening on a day-to-day basis in like the world, and then being faced with the lack of humanity that certain people exhibit, and they do it for fun, right? And so I'm seeing a lot of people draw like hard boundaries, and I think that's super important. And that's why I wanted to have this conversation this week. And I really appreciate you guys hanging out and talking with me about it. This seems to be one of the like more popular topics because everybody wanted to get up and talk about it. That's interesting. I don't think I've had this many people request up to join a conversation ever. So, W topic, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, guys, we're gonna get out of here. It's way overdue or way over time. We're way over time. So we're gonna hit this outro and then we're gonna call it.
Yeah, this ain't your regular panel. Nah, we speak the truth. Late nights with Santana and Mama Jones watching. Better keep it clean. Let's go. Late nights, truth in the convo. Everybody get a seat at the table. From the block to the books, we mindful. No screaming, just dreams in the Bible. One mic, one voice, we build bridges from the heart of the hood to the world's big issues. Politics, pay, different cultures. But the real ones listen before they rebuttal.
Guys, it's been a good week. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for hanging out this week, and for everyone that joined the panel, like, thank you for making this an amazing week. And for everyone that didn't get an opportunity to join, I'm sorry. I promise you I tried to get as many people in as possible, but it was literally one of those weeks where everybody wanted to chime in. So I appreciate each and every one of you. With that being said, we're debating this for the rest of the week. We're getting active because I do enjoy debating. I just don't enjoy the bad faith actors. Anyway, we're gonna get out of here. Part dose? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I'll think about it. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to bed, and you should as well. So there's that. All of you go to sleep. Time for you to go night-night. Chat, you ever go night-night? Everybody go night-night. All right, we got to get out of here. Guys, thank you for all the taps, the likes, the gifts, the shares. Thank you for all the love. Thank you for the donations. Thank you all just for being here. Seriously, you guys are all amazing. I love you all so freaking much. I will see you guys tomorrow. Everyone have a wonderful night. I love you. And as always,